Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claru.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club.
Hell yeah.
Kushiel Start, Episode 2. Today we'll be covering chapters 40 through 79.
So many chapters.
This book is long, and it's thick.
It's a big, it's chunky book.
We have a physical copy now, and it's not quite a Stormlight Archive book, but it's not. You know what I mean?
It's like virgin towards it.
It's not virgin. There's nothing virgin. I guess not even
the unmarried Singani woman.
The unmarried Singani woman.
Yes.
Oh, her. Yeah.
Oh, I just mean that in general.
Just in general. Well, I mean,
yes.
there was a point where Jacqueline was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
he cashed in that V card, Jon Snow style.
Yeah. No one should die a virgin, you know? Yeah.
I mean, if I had a nickel for every time the strong male main character who had pledged a vow of celibacy lost it in a freezing cold cave north of the wall, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't the craziest thing, but it is weird that there's 2 of them.
Here's the thing. I think that trope is popular enough you would have more than 2 nickels. Not gonna lie.
Deliberately celibate warrior men losing their virginities in caves in the country with the wild people north of them.
Yeah, that seems...
I don't feel like that's that common a trope.
Chat, help me out here. Are there any other books? I don't know. That just doesn't feel... It feels like a... I don't know. I guess it works.
It works. I'm just saying it's not like a common fantasy trope.
No.
There aren't a litany of male characters who fuck
No, not a
women
fantasy
in caves.
trope, like a romance trope. In Wheel of Time, it was an igloo. That's true.
Wasn't talking about Wheel of Time.
No.
I was talking about Jon Snow.
I know, but there's 3 already.
Yeah, but that one isn't like in the wildlands to the north of the country that you live in.
What do you mean? Yeah, it is.
And Rand also
they literally
isn't
teleport
doesn't have a vow of celibacy.
That is fair, but they literally teleport.
Guys, we're talking about no, they teleport to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
That's not the country to the north of them.
Very cold.
Slightly north of the border.
You don't know.
Look, yes, Rand also fucks in an igloo. That is not the country slightly to the north of them where a man who has sworn a vow of celibacy has sex for the first time.
It's fair. The celibacy vow is definitely a part of it.
With the woman that he went on a dangerous mission north of the wall with.
All right, okay.
I'm just saying, George R. R. Martin stole this from Kushiel's Dart.
Actually, I wonder, wouldn't George R. R. Martin, didn't he publish that in the 90s?
Ygritte, and that's book 5, right?
Oh, is it that far in?
Isn't that Dances with Dragons?
I actually don't know.
I can't remember which book that happens in.
You know what? That is fair. They might have come out around the same time.
No, actually, this might... Because the first 3 Game of Thrones books are all 90s, right? And then there was the break, and then there was the break. Oh, it was book 2 or 3. Okay, so that would actually predate this.
So maybe Carey stole this from Martin.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thievery. I don't care. This book is fucking great.
No, I'm really enjoying it. I think what's so fascinating about the Kushiel's Dart of it all is that this book plays with things, not plays with, that's maybe a flippant word for it, but trades in tropes and storytelling devices that I have complained about in the past on this show, right? I have complained significantly about slavery, and I have made my feelings about sexual assault and consent very well known. And yet, all of those things are in this book, but because of the manner in which Jacqueline Carey handles them, and because of her prose, it also is a big prophecy thing. There's lots of prophecy.
Yes.
But because of the way she handles those things and uses them, I am less put off by it. Mm-hmm. The prophecy stuff a little bit. I don't love the prophecy stuff in this book. Just because the character's actions are enough for me. I don't need it to always be that it was foretold, or the Drummond is interesting. We'll get to the Drummond when we get to the chapters.
Yeah.
The prose kind of makes up for the prophecy in this for me.
Yeah.
And in terms of the slavery and the sexual side of it, I think that the way in which Jacqueline Carey centers Fedra's point of view in that stuff solves a lot of the issues that I have with, say, George R. R. Martin's writing of those scenes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It feels wildly different.
Yeah, I never feel like I am being voyeuristic in this book.
Yeah, like I'm like...
Which is why it's not really smutty. I also don't find any of the sex in this book arousing.
No, this definitely is not smut, which is why we're going to do like a real smut book next month. Yeah,
like this is very sexual, but it is so culturally sexual and so like... One of the things that I think makes smut in the like modern book talk sense is the taboo of it. And what's so interesting about this book is nothing that they do is ever taboo. Like, you can literally fuck twins. And it's like, I mean, it's taboo to Jocelyn, but his point of view is being pointed at by the book as being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's wonderfully written. It's just such a good book. I think it's... I understand why there's 10 of them. You know what I mean? Like, it really is kind of a masterpiece.
Yeah, and I'm honestly excited to read more, so...
Yeah, me too.
There were a couple memberships right at the very beginning
let's get
I wanted to acknowledge real quick. Daniel Slowski and Matt Hatter, welcome to the Nerds Radiant. Happy
welcome
to have
in.
You here.
And Alec, thank you for 35 months. How crazy is that? Initially, I was turned off because of pacing and length, especially since it seemed more akin to The Expanse than Smut. This section improved a lot, though. Yeah, if you wanted a section of going to different countries and fucking their kings, that is what you get this week on Kushiel's Dart.
Honestly, I love that. Maybe not kings, but, like, you know, definitely fucking a lot of important people. The equivalent,
yeah.
Well, because she also fucks the, like, I don't know if he's, like, a duke, but he's, like, the leader of that section of the duchy or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, just going around fucking a bunch of important leaders.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't fuck Cassandra, but Cassandra is the only, like, state leader in the section whose country she enters and does not fuck.
You know what? It's pretty badass.
It's pretty cool. I guess, no, she goes to Alba, and she doesn't fuck the corked Alba, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, because Cassandra and him are betrothed, so they're good.
They're all lovesick little puppies.
Yeah, I get it. It's sweet. But yeah, I can totally understand why the beginning of this book would be like, whoa, what the fuck? I think because I had never read prose like this before, I was like just really like entranced by it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really feel that, oh my god, I have to really try hard to get into this at the beginning.
Yeah.
But this section definitely improves a lot in terms of like pacing. Things are happening, the pieces are coming together, and I can actually see where this book is going. Because if you read, I don't even know, the first like 25 to 30 chapters, you're like, where is this book going? What is the end game? What are we doing? Yeah.
Well, and what's so fascinating,
kind of a vibe.
What's fascinating about the book is that the political structure and narrative of the book is as rich and complex as anything I've ever read, right?
Yeah.
Like, the world that Jacqueline Carey created is as deep as Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And, like, similar level of magical as the beginning of Game of Thrones, which is
wild. Not expecting that.
Wasn't expecting week 2 of this book to be like, also, hey, magic is real as fuck, boys.
Yeah.
The Dramond, not something that occasionally happens. It's something that you can do at all times.
Yeah.
Also, God exists, and he can appear like the Stormfather from fucking the Stormlight Archive and look down at you and be like, what's up, bitches?
Well,
come to my island.
He's not God. He is the descendant of one of the gods.
Oh, sure.
But yeah.
But, like, from a human perspective, he is essentially divinity.
Yeah.
He is an immortal man who lives on an island that you can only get to by magic, that can appear as a face in the sky, or also just a dude.
Yeah, half angel. Yeah.
Did not expect that.
No, I did not expect that either. I was not expecting this book to have as much, like, Yeah, actual magic fantasy elements. Because I was like, this is, the least fantasy book I've read in, like, a long time. And now I'm like, no, just kidding.
Well, and now it makes her, like, healing factor seem not as, the book being like, she heals quickly. She heals magically. She's got magic healing powers.
She's part angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part angel
went, that one.
The part angel part in the first part of the book was like, oh, I was like, okay, that's their mythology. You know what I mean?
I was like, yeah, it could be true, could be maybe embellished.
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh, no, she's definitely part angel. Yeah, they exist.
Yeah, definitely not as embellished as I thought it was. And now I'm like, because at the very beginning of the book, right, in like chapter 2 or 3, they literally have a priest come in and talking to the children, and Phaedra's like so enthralled by it. And I was like, oh, it feels a little like brainwashy. And I'm like, no, he's just spitting facts.
He's just...
Like, I was like, I actually, no, yeah.
That's the thing, right? You're like, oh my god, this it feels culty. And they're like, oh no, the cult's right.
They actually, like, it actually comes from somewhere real. Like, it actually has grounds for whatever the society's... I don't know. Yeah. It really, like, threw the whole perspective of that first chunk, like, out the fucking window for me. Because I was like, wait a minute. Is it still kind of brainwash culty vibes if it's just literally true?
Well, and it's kind of the opposite of what I sometimes feel like is nags at me a little bit with Brandon Sanderson's reveals, is that it's just a fantasy world where nobody knows what's going on, and then the book is just like, and this is what's going on, and you're like, oh, it's a reveal, because we just weren't told previously.
Yeah.
Whereas what's so fun about the reveals in this book is that the book is just telling you what's up.
Yeah.
And the reader's going, I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah.
And then the book goes, and here's more information. You're like, oh fuck, oh that was all true. Oh, we were just learning the truth.
They were right.
That and that to me is a really interesting way to do a reveal to the audience.
Yeah.
Is to be like, oh no, suddenly like there is an angel in the sky, and you're like,
like,
oh, so Eloah wasn't. That was okay.
That was not a fairy tale make believe.
And I just think there's something really organic about the world building here, that at times feels inorganic because it's so much exposition.
Yeah.
But there's something so organic to the way you kind of fall into the magic of this world.
Yeah, because like if I if you were to tell me like, hey, so a couple hundred years ago, the person who's actually, like, angel, like, came and, like, founded this place and, like, birthed all you guys, and, there was this history, and, like, yeah, Nama, like, fucked this guy. Now we have a whole sect of people that just, they do the fucking. Is that something that you want to be a part of? I'd be like, oh, yeah, sure, that doesn't seem so weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if that is, like, literally, like, your history. Yeah. Like, the way that we study, like, the world wars. You'd be like, cool, all right. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
So wild. But I love it. I love that it is a totally, completely unique and different perspective, and that their world is so fundamentally different from ours. Because my first immediate thought is like, oh, they're doing the brainwashing religion thing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, no, I was wrong. Actually.
Well, and then the Master of the Straits, when they're talking about him in the first meeting, right? They're like, oh yeah, the Master of the Straits won't let people pass. So I'm thinking, like, there is some guy who is some city-state, has a fucking fleet, and it's really hard to get goods through his fleet. No, it's a demigod, but they don't talk about him like a demigod in that meeting because everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
And it would be weirder for them
met him.
To turn to the camera and be like, the Master of the Straits, the half-angel whose face, you know what I mean? They don't...
No, I love that we didn't find out until we got there.
Everyone in that meeting already knows that.
Yeah, it would be weird for them to explain it to us.
Yeah, and it's masterful, man. I think this book is so damn good.
Yeah.
Like,
fucking brilliant.
I really do. I think that the language is so poetic. Mm-hmm. There are sentences. I took a picture of this one because I wanted to pull more sentences to like just talk about, but I realized that I'm not just going to read the book to you. But this one to me was wildly beautiful. It is my fate, it seems, to fall privy to rare and splendid vistas in a state of exhaustion too profound to care. I was like, that is the most stunning way to write. I was too tired to give a shit about how beautiful it was. And I just, the Jacqueline Carey's language, and every sentence is like that.
Yeah.
It's not even like that's like the like sentence of that chapter. What stands out to me so much is that was a random sentence in that chapter that wasn't important.
You could flip to a random page in the book and just pull out a sentence, and
Boom,
it's
boom.
poetry.
And there's, you know, I love fantasy literature.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times where fantasy literature, I feel, devolves or lessens its language a little bit in order to try and explain what is going on.
Yeah.
Because if you use poetry and also the world is insane, sometimes it can feel too much.
Yes.
And I feel like, partially because this takes place somewhat in the real world.
It's like, I don't know about that. People are like, well, these people are these people, and this person is this person, this country is this country, and I'm like,
I mean in the fact that there's not like dragons and like
okay,
there's
no magical creatures, there's only angels that we know of.
Well, and the angels are all humanoid, right? Like it's not like the angels are just like 1,000 eyes with wings.
Right, there's
like
no beholders
angels,
roaming around.
Okay. Farron M over on Twitch says, is it more or less flowery than Tolkien?
I would say more.
I would say less.
Oh, really?
But it's a little bit more modern. So I think there are similar levels of flowery to me. I think that this is a little bit more penetrable to a modern audience, whereas Tolkien at times can be a little
obtuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can sometimes with Tolkien, like Shakespeare, you kind of have to have read it to understand it already. You know what I mean? Like on a reread. Yeah. And part of that is just the times, right? Like Tolkien was written pre-World War. A lot of Tolkien was written pre-World War II, or during World War II, and
it's not as dry.
It's like 80 years ago, whereas this was written 20 years ago. So it's just a little it's a little bit more sensible to a modern audience.
Yeah, everyone says it's not as dry, and I definitely agree with that.
Well, it's definitely not as dry as Tolkien. People are fucking, and they are wet. Like, Phaedra's pussy is dripping.
There is much moisture everywhere. We're also on the ocean for a good chunk, and in the snow. So there is a lot of moisture everywhere, actually.
Tolkien writes like a guy who was born in the 1800s who teaches linguistics at Oxford, which is fine because that's who he... Yeah,
correct.
That is who he was.
Threk, thank you for subbing over on Twitch.
Thank you, Threk. Let's just say quickly before we get into this podcast is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com. MistyMountainGaming.com is a website where you can buy things that go clickety-clack when your friends come over or join you in a Discord call. They are the accoutrement necessary for you to play games like Kushiel's Dart, a new TTRPG where you roll for languissement.
Damn, yeah. Roll for how many times we're going to write the word phallus. It is the only word for penis that is ever used.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of great words for penis.
That fit in the flowery language? No.
There's so many good words for vagina.
Yeah, no. But like, it just doesn't fit the vibe. Honestly, a Kushiel's Dart, like, D&D campaign would be so heady and political, but like, I think it'd be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, it would be real hard to do.
Oh, it would.
Just because it would be so sexual, and I don't... Even with my most sexual friends, role-playing that stuff can get dicey, especially if one of you is an engagement. And it's like, all right, everyone else at the table, you're going to sit there while the DM and this one player role-play BDSM. Like, that does not actually sound like a good time to me.
Oh, and set. I was like, okay, yeah.
What did I say?
Angisa, I think.
Oh,
I was like, am I forgetting what that is?
I don't know that I'd actually at. But if you want to go to Misty Mountain Gaming, we're in the middle of an ad. MistyMountainGaming.com, you can get other things for other games. Like Daggerheart or the Stormlight Archive Cosmere RPG, which is coming out
sometime.
I've already paid for both of them.
Yeah, it comes out sometime.
Yeah. I also paid for that Gotham City one that's on GameFound right now.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. Thank you for listening to the ad. Use code nerdynightly15 at MistyMountainGaming.com for 15% off your order. Misty Mountain Gaming, nerdynightly15. Do it now.
Yeah.
so that we can
Apparently you need
pay
like
for these lights.
10 impressions to like buy something. So, Miss Mountain Gaming, Nerdy Nightly 15.
We're not doing that 10 times.
Okay.
Chapter 60, The Scaldy. We are north of the Wall. We're north of the Wall. Not really the wall. There's no wall. But we're north of the mountains in Scaldy territory with Gunther Arnlaugson. Arnlaugson. I am not from Northern Europe.
Arnoldson.
Yeah, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And we go to a steading. That steading is kind of great. The weird thing about that steading is we keep hearing like Odin and Frigga and Thor and Balder. And because the other gods in this world are real, is Odin real?
Maybe.
In this world? Is Fedra gonna fuck Odin at some point?
That would be great. Book 9?
I'm just at a point where I'm like, it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah.
Now, the Master of the Straits thing literally changed my entire perspective on this book.
Yeah.
Like, could happen.
Yeah. I was like, if Fedra fucks a horse at some point and that horse turns out to be Loki, all right.
That would make sense.
I guess that is...
I would buy it.
The war ended because Fedra fucked a horse.
Oh my god.
Kushiel's chosen.
I mean, maybe they're probably real because if angels exist, then these guys would exist. They're just older, maybe.
And so, I'm not gonna lie. After we ended book club last week, I messaged Arzu, our wonderful mod.
Yeah.
And I was like, Arzu, now that she's a slave again, but this time, like, not, like, the kind of slave where she has some power. She's, like, a no-power slave. Is the rest of this book just sexual violence against her?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prepare myself for that. I was like, can you give me a trigger warning? And Arzu was like, no, not really.
Yeah, it's
and
less
like,
what like you think it is.
Is Arzu right about this? Because we get to the steading, and we get to the main hall, and we're walked in, and it's like, oh, Gunter seems pretty set on doing some bad shit here. And no, he doesn't get to, because as he's about to take her away to his bed, Hedvig comes over and berates him. Hedvig is the daughter of the previous clan chief.
Yeah.
Who still has some power in the clan.
Yeah, because of the respect from her father. And Gunter's like,
and also
because
Gunter is, yeah.
Like, Gunter's trying to get it, right? And she's
the entire clan is like, that is our chieftainess.
Yeah.
Those two just haven't fucking agreed on it
Yeah,
yet.
they haven't married yet.
And so Gunter has actually proposed 3 times.
Yeah.
That is...
3 whole times. I should have made you propose several times.
Nope.
Just so you get a little more creative with it each time.
I never would have.
I know.
No, I mean that literally. If you had said no, I would have been like, oh, okay, well then,
what are we doing?
We're done then.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. That's the end of our relationship.
Yeah, I don't get the hard to get thing.
Yeah. But only because if I had done it out of the blue, sure.
Like if we hadn't talked about it.
But like we had talked about it so much that
if
I would have
said
been
no,
like,
you'd been like, I beg your pardon? Like
I would have sat down. I would have been like, Sash, can you go? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What do you mean? We've planned this out.
Yeah.
And so Gunter goes to bed cold and alone. Unfortunately, Jocelyn has to sleep with the puppies. Jocelyn.
Yeah, so Jocelyn is struggling with his oaths a little bit. And he goes into fight mode. And he basically, he gets like beat down and thrown into the kennels.
Well, it's because they cross over into the border, and these. Oh no, wait, that's different people later.
Different people later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So okay, so Fedra doesn't sleep with Gunter that night. However, Fedra is literally a slave to Gunter.
Yeah.
And so she got one night off. Hedvig could only do so much.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that Hedvig's kindness and also Fedra's cunning lead to a situation where Fedra is such an interesting character because I think that from our perspective, we would say that she was raped multiple times in the course of her time with the Skellig, right?
Yeah.
With the Scaldi. But interestingly, I don't know that she feels that way.
She talks about it later on, where it is different. Like, it's not something that she, like, but it feels like to Phaedra, there are different levels.
Yeah.
Because she does call what happens to her at Voldemort Skellig's, like, that she is almost nearly raped.
But not by him. It's the time that she's out and the guys are grabbing at her.
The random dude literally starts ripping her clothes off.
And that to her is the line of, like, what is...
Like, she has, like, a fucking tier system.
But when she's with Gunther, there is an interesting... she understands the power dynamic of her sexuality so well that when she's having sex with Gunther, she is like, I am doing this as a ploy to eventually escape. I'm doing this...
She's like, I hate this and I hate myself for enjoying this, but, like, I'm also here... I'm also not fighting this because, like, I understand how I can use this in my favor to stay alive.
And the reason I bring this up is, do you think that this is genuinely how she feels at her core? Or are we going to get like a therapy scene in book 3 where she fully breaks down over all this shit?
I don't know if they have therapists in Todange.
That's not like the House of Samuel?
I don't know if there is a therapy house, but I absolutely could see further down the line, there are several books, her perspective on what happened changed. Because I think when you're in this moment and you are merely trying to survive, and not only for herself, right, for Jocelyn. Mm-hmm. Because if she doesn't do what is expected of her, his life is also in danger, and she does care about him a lot.
Yeah.
I think that how we are able to cope with trauma in the moment is, like, put Band-Aids on shit. Mm-hmm. And when you get older and when you get distance, you're able to remove the Band-Aids and inspect the wounds underneath. Yeah. And really come to terms with them.
Well, I just found it so fascinating because she spends... So we're not going to, like, fully go chapter by chapter this week. I felt like that led to some stilted conversation next week. So I just want to talk about the Gunther section right now. And we spend some time at Gunther's steading. Phaedra rises up in the ranks here because she's beautiful and kind and intelligent. She also speaks Scaldi, which surprises the hell out of them.
Yes.
And...
I mean, they find that out, like, right away. She's like... there's a moment where she's like, I have to give up this advantage, and she's been there for, like, 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Which I think is fair. She wins over a lot of hearts and sympathy because she's able to... Yeah.
And Harald.
Canoed. I was like, Nud? I don't know. She is able to... She performs this incredible song that she translates, like, in the moment live into Scaldi. Crazy. Fucking crazy.
Like, can you imagine someone being like, I will now sing Defying Gravity. And someone went, in French. And they're like, sure.
All right, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, that's literally it. So she's able to captivate... pretty much everyone here with many of her different arts, we'll say. Jocelyn only stays with the dogs for about a week because he's not eating. I think
he's with the dogs for longer, but he's not. He doesn't eat for a week.
Oh, I thought it was like.
But then there's a while where she's like going to him to teach him lessons.
Oh, sorry. It's a week before she's allowed to see him for the first time.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're so right. Yeah, so after a week, Phaedra goes to see him, and she basically fucking verbally beats the shit out of him to make him stay alive. Look, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. Because he's not well. And he also thinks that she betrayed him as well. Right? There is a week of his life where he's like, I stayed alive hating you because I thought you betrayed me. And so when she comes to him in that moment, they realize that they are in this slavery together and that they have to work together to continue on living.
Well, and what I find so fascinating about them is that Jocelyn is so capable in so many ways, but is so deeply immature in ways that she's not.
Yeah.
Like, he's not dumb, but he also isn't great at understanding what's going on around him. And he doesn't see like, he has such an infantilized view of the world and honor that he is incapable of, like, processing what other people are doing in real time and, like, getting to the why of it, which Phaedra's so good at.
Yeah. I'm gonna, like, throw, like, maybe a hot take. I think that Jacqueline is representative of us and the reader and our worldviews and our cultures and our, like, you know, maybe more prudish natures and our views of honor. Like, I think that Jacqueline is a little bit of an audience insert to point at and be like, this fucking guy is so naive as to what the world is and can be. Which
is so funny, because you and I live a much more, closer to Phaedra's lifestyle.
A much more liberated lifestyle.
And so Jacqueline seems so prudish to me.
Yes.
In a way that I'm not. I'm like, no, so what? She's fucking a bunch of people. Why do you care? You are an avowed celibate. Why does this bother you?
Yeah, but I think if you take, like, the average of people in our world, it is definitely closer to Jacqueline's point of view.
But Jacqueline is, like, offended by sex, just in general. And I'm like, does Jacqueline not know that that's how babies were made?
How dare you?
Like, does Jacqueline isn't just offended by her sex. Jacqueline is offended by, like, people having fun sometimes.
Yes.
In a way that I'm like, God, he's such a downer. And she's falling in love with him. And he's such a buzzkill. Oh my God. Like,
he's getting better.
If I was Phaedra, I would be like, God, this main hall was so much more fun when Jacqueline was fucking in the doghouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. Mm-hmm. Come on. She's been fucking men in front of him for months at this point. And he's like, you're having sex tonight? Yeah. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You had sex with a woman. He gets so fucking offended that she had sex with a woman. And I'm like, oh my God, Jacqueline. Calm your little titties.
He is very pretty. Yes.
I know, but...
Yes, that is correct.
But also, his like, idea of protecting her is so narrow.
Yeah, he has to make all these vows and is raised with such a narrow view on what honor is, what protection is, what Kushiel wants from him. Like, he's literally born with fucking blinders on, basically, and is forced to keep them on his whole life.
If I was a noble person in Terdange, and I was like, I need a bodyguard / like, weapons guy who does the weapon stuff in my house. The last fucking group of people I would go to would be the Kushiel Brotherhood.
So you wouldn't go to the experts?
No, they're terrible. Their oaths are so narrow about what they are allowed to do and not allowed to do. And
granted, their oaths are very tailored to serving, like, kings who are sitting on their thrones.
I don't care. Do you know how valuable it is in these situations to have a guy who can just pull a sword out as a threat so that a fight doesn't happen?
Well,
they cannot do that. They literally cannot do shit.
Culturally, culturally they understand how deadly the Kushiels are, and so even him pulling his daggers is still more of a threat than a random guy pulling his sword.
But he can't threaten people. They're terrible bodyguards.
His hands on his daggers.
This dude
can't kill with his daggers.
This dude pulled his sword out to save her life because she was in mortal danger, and then he went, I can't believe I did that. I killed that guy who was about to kill you. I have to kill myself now. And she's like, what are you... Your job is to protect me. What are you talking about?
The oaths are something. Which is why the Kushiel Brotherhood is kind of like, by the rest of Terdange.
Too much. I do not need an overly avowed buzzkill standing at my left elbow fucking sneering at me every time I do anything a little bit fun. What is the point of being rich if I have some little blonde bitch beside me being a fucking... little, like, black cloud over every party I throw? Get out of the room, Jacqueline.
Just
we're having a good, like, fucking time.
Judging everybody, like...
They managed to ford the unfordable sea. They get all the way to the fucking, like, Crew Arc, and everybody's having a fucking blast.
Mm-hmm.
They're partying because the unimaginable happened and they actually fucking made it. They're just vibing. A feast is thrown in their honor, and Jacqueline is sitting in the corner like, oh, you're gonna drink fucking wine? Oh, you're gonna drink a little wine, Fedra? Fuck off!
He gets better, okay?
Oh my god,
to
he
his
pissed
credit,
me off.
To his credit, Jacqueline, I think, is the character in this book that experiences the most growth.
I mean, Fedra does, only because we do see her as literal... we see her when she's this big. But in terms of emotional growth, I agree with you.
Okay. That is fair. But yeah, at this point in his life, Jacqueline's vows are very restrictive. But they are able to get Jacqueline out of the kennels. He's like, yeah, I will be your little bitch boy, no problem. And he is. And he's very pretty. And all the women love to talk about how pretty he is.
Which leads to, like, one of the more uncomfortable moments in this book to me.
Yeah.
Which is when Jacqueline is naked at the baths. And
everyone is standing around watching. Yeah.
They all just come in to stare at him.
Alright, so what's he packing?
Like, yeah. This scene in the live action would be... There would be thought pieces...
Oh, yeah.
written about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I, reading this, it is very obvious that the Scaldi men, any other Scaldi men would be like, hell yeah, come in and watch me bathe. And so I don't think they think too much of it when Jacqueline is embarrassed.
Well, and the cultural bath, it is like communal, right? Mm-hmm. They don't separate by gender. So it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
But it is the, like, every single woman in the setting came to look at him.
Yeah, he's very pretty. Like
There's not one lesbian in the whole setting.
Here's the thing, even if I was a full lesbian and a part angel walked into the bathtub upstairs, I'd be like, I would go look. Yeah.
I would let people have their privacy. Because I'm not a monster. No
privacy, he's a slave.
Wow, that's awful.
That is what it is.
I didn't disagree with you. I just said that it's awful.
So a couple things happen during their time with Gunter. Fedra starts teaching Gunter how to fuck properly and not like a 16-year-old boy who thinks that porn is how people have sex. So
yeah.
he actually does really want to marry Hedwig, whether or not it's for the security of her position within the clan, or because he actually cares about her. I think it's probably both.
Well, but what's so interesting about this is that she even, like, we don't actually read a lot of sex scenes with Gunter. There's really only, like, the first one, and then they're just kind of alluded to after that. And until one of the last ones where she says, like, he didn't use any of the things I taught him on me because I'm a slave. But he is going to use them on Hedwig, so I am going to tell her to marry him. And then when she's saying goodbye to Gunter, or to Gunter's clan, she goes to Hedwig and is like, he's a good man. And this is where this is where her perspective on what is sexual assault and not is so fascinating. Because I think she genuinely means that when she says it to Hedwig.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Fedra wants the Scaldi to lose, but by the time she is done with Gunter's clan, she genuinely wants his clan to be safe. And
I mean, I don't know about safe, but she definitely feels guilty, right? Because in a war on this scale, Gunter is not plotting to invade Terdange and slaughter her countrymen, right? It's not, he's just doing what he's told.
No, but he does do that. There's a great sequence where
where
they
Jacqueline...
do go to raid, and Jacqueline is...
So Jacqueline and Fedra are getting kind of complacent in their slavery because it is fairly comfortable. It's
Hedwig... also so cold outside.
Yeah, but
they're
Hedwig is like,
we'll stay inside, thanks.
Hedwig is like, we don't, like, mistreat our slaves. You don't grovel on the ground. Like, that's not, like, you're here to work, right? And so they do get kind of complacent in a way until Gunter and his men go and raid some of the villages nearby. And come back having slaughtered people from Terdange. Which, like, obviously is very sobering for Fedra and Jacqueline, and they kind of spend the night, like, cuddled together for...
Well, Gunter comes back and takes her
Yeah.
in celebration, and it is the one night she sneaks out of his bed.
Yeah.
To go hold Jocelyn in the living room where he sleeps manacled to a bench by the fire.
Yeah.
It's not great. Me-Monk says, does Jacqueline Carey do Snow right? Asking from the south. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For the most part,
yeah.
I don't think there was
frostbite. The horses die because the horses cannot just survive in the cold.
Yeah.
No, there's a few things Jacqueline Carey does right, in my opinion, which is horse travel, which I complain about more than anybody else on Earth, and I'm sorry about it. And the snow. I think that her understanding of the danger, why she gets it is the danger of it, and the immediacy of every time they do get pulled in, that the first thing they're doing is checking for frostbite. Is the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I
mean, Jocelyn has wounds that, like, are from being chained up.
Yeah.
That won't heal, right? Like, there's, like, serious consequences to the cold, because the metal is basically, like, freezing his skin.
Yeah, and so you can have scars from the cold.
Yeah.
From, if you wear, like, a watch in the cold all day, you could literally, like a metal watch, it can scar, and then you end up with this, like, kind of, like, bluish kind of, I've seen it on, like, oil workers up in Fort Mac who are working in the winter and they don't want to take their, like, expensive watch off for some fucking reason. You can, like, without breaking the skin, which is how you get most scars on your skin, right? You can scar it. It's almost like a burn scar.
Yeah.
And it hurts real fucking bad.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like it's like frost burn, basically. And that's what he kind of has from the manacles. I also think Threk brings up the, like, falling off cliffs you can't see because the snow overhangs the edge is a really interesting one. The way snow can hold in a shape defies your understanding of it. Like, you're like, oh, there must be something in there. There's snow on it. And then it's just pure snow.
Yeah.
And there's nothing underneath it. And it's just because snow is sticky sometimes in a way that can create that optical illusion.
Yeah, snow is weird.
It's weird. There's so much of it outside.
I know, yeah.
I'm so glad we finally had a garage door. We don't own this house, and so we when we moved in, the garage door didn't have a clicker, and we finally got a clicker to open and close the garage door, and so it's so easy to get the car in the garage, and so it's not covered in snow right now, and I'm just thrilled. You guys, I'm thrilled. That clicker changes my life because I don't have to get out in the snow to go in the side of the garage, open the. It's
such a little thing that, like, you don't notice until you're like, thank God I have a garage door.
This has been my favorite week in this house so far because I have a fucking clicker, and I know that is the, like, fucking dumbest thing to be excited about.
Nah, people.
But
get
I am
it.
32, and I'm so fucking excited about it.
People get it.
I'm gonna be 33.
Yeah.
I'm almost older than Jesus was, you guys.
Damn,
so
well
close.
done. Well
so
done.
close. I just want to outlive Jesus. That's been my goal since I was born.
Okay.
Yeah, as the second coming. I want to do better than I did last time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Yeah. While they're in the Gunter's care, there is also Thane who gets really jealous of Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Because
Elsa
he's really hot.
Elsa's not a lesbian in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So this guy who nobody likes, is, like, giving Jocelyn a hard time, and he kind of takes it for the most part until there is a moment where Jocelyn kind of snaps and challenges him to fight.
Yeah.
And to defend himself. And this motherfucker's like, what, Gunter? You're gonna make me fight a slave? Wow, that's so rude. And Gunter's like, yeah, no, I want some entertainment, bitch. It's cold outside.
But also Gunter's like, dude, you clearly started it.
You've
like,
been fucking around with this guy for, like, weeks.
Did you think there would never be consequences for your actions?
Yeah.
Nah, we're Scaldy. We're all consequences all the time.
Pretty much, yep. So the next morning they fight, and Jocelyn fucking absolutely murks this guy.
Yeah, it's not a fair fight.
No, not a fair fight at all. This guy lasts, like, 30 seconds. Everyone's happy to be rid of him. They're like, good fight. Well done.
And it didn't seem like he was very liked.
No.
He was sort of the, like guy that you're friends with in middle school, but when you introduce him to your, like, adult friends, they're like, why do you hang out with this dude?
Yeah, like, who is this guy? Yeah.
One thing I did like about it is the setup for the fight was that you were allowed to have 3 shields.
But you have to get them from friends.
Yeah, but they have to be like gifted to you. And so it's Canute, right? Or is it Harold?
I think it's
so Canute
Nod.
gives him the shield and is like it would be improper for me to not. So
yeah, so here.
It's not because I like you or anything.
Yeah. We don't do that.
Why would I like you? Fuck you. Take my shield. Bye. Okay, let's make out later. And then he walks away.
Yeah. Yeah, Threck brings up that, Jacqueline definitely wasn't trying to just outright kill this guy. He definitely tried to make him yield. He broke all the shields. He told him, step outside the boundaries.
Well, Jocelyn's shield is gone immediately.
Oh, yeah.
The one, so fucking, I don't remember this guy's name. He has 3 shields and Jocelyn has 1. Jocelyn
it was like Everard or some bullshit. Like
Jocelyn doesn't know how to use the shield, and so it breaks immediately. And he's like, "Oh, good, don't need that shit." Was only holding it because I wanted to make Canute happy. They're really gay lovers, and I wish that the book had explored that more. And
maybe
then
he's alive.
San's shield, Jocelyn is so much better than he would have been with it.
Yeah.
And he gets the guy down on the ground, and he's like, "Fucking yield, bitch!" And he's like, "No,
can't do that, actually."
And so Jocelyn, shink, kills the guy. And you know what?
Rest in pieces.
No one's sad about it.
Literally no one. They're like, hey, good fight. Well done.
But the time with Gunther teaches Fedra a lot about the Scaldi.
Yeah.
And, definitely changes her perspective on them. Opens her mind to the fact that they're not simply savages the way that she had previously thought.
Yeah.
And it becomes time to leave to go meet Valdemar Selig.
Yeah, at the All Thing.
At the All Thing. Yeah. For the All Thing for the All Father?
Yeah.
Do you think the All Father calls his penis the All Thing?
The All Thing? Maybe.
Can I get a cameo from Anthony Hopkins where he talks about the length of his All Thing?
That'd be yeah. That would be appropriate for this book, especially.
Whosoever holds the power of Frigga may lay her lips upon this All Thing.
God damn it, I hate it. Yeah. So basically, Gunther has not said as much, but there are rumors that he is going to gift Fedra and Jocelyn to Valdemar Skellig.
What do you mean not said as much? I'm pretty sure he said it very explicitly. He was like, you're going to be a great gift for Valdemar Skellig.
He says it when they get there. Literally, like, waits till the last
Does he not say it earlier than that?
No.
So but she knew from like the
Everyone
first
was talking
moment.
about it. Yeah.
Weird. For some reason I thought that she said it earlier, but yeah. But yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Just that. Yeah. This whole time, French was like, he hasn't told me, but everyone else says that this is the plan. So yeah. So Jocelyn and Fedra are going to become gifts. Yeah,
and so we head towards the All Thing. On our way there, some men in white pop out of the snow, ready to fight. And Jocelyn, also ready to go. He pops off his horse and scares the living shit out of these things. They're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Like, well, bro, we're just the patrols, man.
Well,
like...
and they're... On the one hand, you're like, oh yeah, they're ready for a fight. But also, can you imagine, like, you're expecting a bunch of, like, big burly dudes in furs... And off of the horse pops, like, the prettiest. Like, Orlando Bloom in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie
is suddenly
as Legolas, spinning around.
With his fucking blonde hair.
Also beautiful. Like, because it's not even that, like, it's like, oh, the Scaldi are trying to fight us. It's like the fucking prettiest dude ever. Yeah. With no beard.
They're like,
They're like, who is this woman?
Yeah. Who is this woman?
And, yeah, so it scares the shit out of them. Which is good because when they do eventually get to the All Thing, and Valdemar's like, why would I want this guy? And his 2 things are like, you want that, trust me.
He does do the stabby stab.
He's pretty impressive. He's pretty hot. I know bisexuality is not as common among our people as it is among Terdange, but if he hangs out here for a little bit longer, it will be.
It definitely will
Changing hearts, minds, and dicks over here.
I love that.
And so we meet... Valdemar Selig. The All Thing is a massive meeting in the basin of this, like, valley. And basically all the
Scaldi.
Yeah.
God damn it, they're too close. All the Scaldi meet. Everyone who's been summoned, all the like clan leaders, Thanes. Everyone's bringing gifts. Everyone's coming together.
Mm-hmm. The Scaldi are they've been slowing down on the raids. They've been kind of pulling together, under the impression that Voldemar Selig is about to take them to war, and that they are going to kind of unite under his banner. And it's really interesting the way in which it goes down, because it is sort of like that you show up, and then everybody gets there, and then the Thanes are like, so here's the deal. When there's one finger of light above that hill over there, the doors are going to open.
Yeah.
Which is like
my finger and your finger are far different.
But like also an insane way to be, because depending on where you are in the valley, like that's going to happen at different times.
They don't have clocks.
So it's like if you stand on this red dot and your finger is this big.
I think it's to make sure that people are not late.
Well, no, and honestly, the difference between two fingers and one finger is big enough. Yeah. But they're like, when two fingers are there, you show up. When one finger is there, and I was like, oh, that's it. I guess that's how we measure time for like most of human history. Like it's not
fingers.
I like the specificity of time. I'm a big time boy. But like for most of I just hadn't thought about it. For most human history, how would you tell people when to show up? And it's like when it's about a finger.
Yeah.
When
approximately.
Yeah. When it's about a finger.
Give or take.
Yeah. And I'm joking about it, but it is incredibly clever, right?
It sets the tone, and there's so many subtle ways in which Jacqueline Carey like is able to enrich the cultures in her world without sitting down to be like, and this is how they measure time or whatever. Right? It's so much more organic than that, and it's so much more interesting to read because of it.
Well, and time isn't something like how it's never brought up among the Dongelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and in a lot of fantasy books, time just isn't something that you talk about.
Yeah.
Like, and so I enjoyed this. I joke about it because I also think it's funny to be like, your finger, and it's like, your finger or mine? Whose finger? Which finger on your hand? Right? Because there's a big difference between my pinky and like my thumb.
Yeah.
My thumb is almost two pinkies. So if I went like that, I would be late.
Well, thumb's not a finger, so.
What?
It's a thumb.
But it's definitely a finger. That's like saying your big toe isn't a toe.
It's a phalange. No, it's still a big toe because it's a toe. Your thumb.
But why would your big toe be different than your thumb?
Than your thumb. Well, one is a phalange and one is a toe.
Aren't toes also phalanges?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Okay, thumbs are fingers though, right?
Maybe.
We're not trying to say that thumbs aren't fingers on this channel.
Well, then why isn't this an index thumb?
Because it's the thumb finger, the index finger.
The thumb finger? Okay, I've never called it the thumb finger. That's...
Thumbs don't have the same number of joints as fingers?
There you go. I actually was right. I was making a joke.
Oh, it's an American thing. This is your first American thing.
American thing?
Yeah, it's an Americanism, apparently.
Oh, sure. Yeah, all right.
Sure.
There you go.
Great. Well done, everybody.
Apparently thumbs work differently. Well, you learn something new every day.
So we get to a nighttime. That fingy time happens, and the doors open. And Gunther, much like the other smarter of the Scaldi, holds back. Lets all those idiots clamber into the hall, so that much like the Beauxbatons and the Durmstrangs, they can make a grand entrance filled with backflips and roundouts. The fourth Harry Potter movie made that shit so fucking... Like, if you ever watch that scene where Beauxbaton and Durmstrang walk into the hall, it's
watched it many
so
times.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
But it implies that it's rehearsed.
Yeah.
Which implies that, like, somewhere in the bowels of Durmstrang, there was a poor stage manager who had to tape out
the Great Hall.
The Great Hall.
Yeah.
So that they could practice their round-off back tucks.
They're like, so the tables are going to be here, and the benches are going to be
That's
here.
the video we should make, is the rehearsal process for the Durmstrang entrance.
Oh my god.
And so they walk in, and they make their grand entrance, and Gunther is like, I have a gift for you.
I have 2 gifts.
Pretty lady and
pretty man.
sexy boy.
Yeah.
And Gunther's like, Voldemort's like, why would I want any of them? And he went, sorry, boobs, knives.
Yeah.
Good? And so Jocelyn has to fight somebody, because of course he does. That's what Jocelyn do be doing. He wins handily because he's Jocelyn. And he has broken another vow now by
shows
fighting,
off a little bit.
not to kill. Even though if he didn't fight, Phaedra would probably be murdered. So he is not... All vows shouldn't be created equal, but in Jocelyn's mind... Jocelyn would be a great Windrunner.
Would he?
Yeah, because he wants to keep to the letter of his vows, not the spirit of them. He fucking loves the letter of the law.
Skybreaker?
No, Windrunner. Jocelyn would let the world burn to keep Syl alive. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that makes him a good Windrunner.
Jocelyn would never break his oath, and so his spren is living forever.
He definitely breaks his oaths. For that pussy, you know what I mean?
That's true, he does actually break his oath for pussy.
Yeah. He's also depressed, Windrunner for sure. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, if he had magical powers, I don't think he would have broken his oath.
Maybe.
Because if he was a Radiant, he would have just killed, or he would have just, like, wind-run the Scaldy off.
Yeah. But that is not the book that we're reading.
Also, you could, like, heal forever in the snow.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you don't have to worry about freezing to death.
No.
That's interesting. Alright, cool. Yeah, Skellig does have a moment where he's like, this gift could be a trap.
Yeah.
But you know what? She's hot enough.
She's so hot.
I'm gonna take it anyways. Oh, Gunter's also like, she has to like it.
Oh,
always.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do, she's gonna like it.
Which is not really true, weirdly. Like, the nicer Gunther is, the less she's gonna enjoy it, and that's so complicated.
Yeah.
Because, so the first time that she's with Gunther, if we jump back, she is so turned on because he, like, drags her through all of the Scaldy, and the humiliation of it makes it hotter for her.
But she also hates herself for feeling that way. Which is
fair.
She needs a therapist.
Which is fair. I don't think a therapist would help in this case.
I don't know what.
It's like a magical... She's, like, magically kinky. Like, I don't know that a therapist can, like, undo the fact that God made you a fetish.
She needs, like, an on and off switch. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, a sexy time switch and a, like, everyday life
But now we're
switch.
just turning her into, like, a life doll. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's true, and Bryce, she does eventually make it home and does get whipped at the temple to make her feel better about everything that happened. This book it's wild, and yet I fucking love it. It's so damn good.
I know.
It is such a good book, and also when you say
it out loud, you're like, what the fuck?
There was a point this week where I was like, can we talk about this on book club? Are we gonna get canceled for being like, this book is great? This woman gets raped a lot, and she comes every time, and that's just what happens.
Yeah.
But the book is great, and it's so well written. And she also, like, literally fucks her way into multiple armies going to war. Yeah. And it's like the best. This book is about a woman, which is why the title of this video is Banging the Drums of War, or Banging the War Drum, because I thought that was funny. Because she do be banging.
Jesus Christ.
But, like, if you were, like, in Game of Thrones, Sansa fucks her way into saving Winterfell, I'd be like, oh, gross. Come on, George R. R. Martin, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But this book, Phaedra literally fucks these soldiers into place And I'm like, fucking brilliant. Oh, Jacqueline, Carey.
Yeah.
And it
But like you said, it is the way that it is written.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like, in the scenes where she's basically not consenting, it's not like you're watching this unfold in a way where you're like, I feel like I'm literally, like, watching a scene that I really shouldn't be, and in a very uncomfortable way. Everything is written from Fedra's perspective.
Yeah.
It is about how she feels at all times. It is not about the specificity of the events taking place or how she's being fucked, unless it is, like, important to what happens next.
Well, and like
right?
the first time she's with Gunther, the perspective is not her versus Gunther.
No.
It is her versus herself.
It is totally in her head and going through her emotions, what she's feeling, and how she's processing it, which makes it feel like it's, you know, like, obviously it's a awful thing happening to her, but it feels less icky and less, like you said, voyeuristic, and less like I'm, like, watching it all happen.
Well, and it's because her opponent in that scene is herself. The person she's mad at is herself. Yeah. And so the scene is 100% about her. Gunther in that scene is literally a stunt dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a prop in a scene that is about her confronting her own body and her, like, this other part of herself.
Yeah.
And so by making the only characters in the scene her and herself, you are centering her so much.
Yeah.
That you end up in this. It is unlike any other non-consent I've ever read.
Yeah.
And it's also never hot. None of these scenes are arousing.
No, yeah.
And I just, it's brilliant. I think that the line this book walks is so fine, and I don't think a toe steps out of place the entire time.
Yeah.
Except in, like, front-loading exposition. I do feel like there's a lot of exposition at the front. That's the only, like, toe out of line in this book.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Voldemar takes them in. Official ACM says it's written in a way that's not exploitative torture porn. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a huge difference.
Yeah. Like, and I like George R. R. Martin's writing, but, like, the scene between Sansa, Tyrion, and, fucking Smeagol. What's his name?
Smeagol.
Ramsay.
Oh, Tyrion is not there for that. Theon, thank you.
Yep. T names.
Yeah.
Is rough. It's a rough read.
Yeah.
And people are complaining about it in the show. The book version is so much worse. Like, the show toned it down so much.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh my god, I can't." I was like, "Guys, it's so much worse in the book. I don't know why." Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Voldemar is a bad man. Voldemar is very scary to Fedra. And the reason why he's so scary to Fedra is he's smart. Dude can read. He is Dalinar Kholin.
He's got a library in his room. He's read the sexy books.
A war guy, but he also, like, pays attention to the world. Mm-hmm. And so, unlike the Scaldi of the past, who can only read glyphs, this is a man who can read letters.
Yeah, they literally don't have their own written language.
Yeah. Which, again, I don't agree with that. Necessarily.
Agree with it? What do you mean?
Like, if you have glyphs, you're reading. I just, not to get back into the Stormlight archive of it all, but, like, letters and glyphs are the same fucking thing. They're all just scratches of ink on parchment.
It's like picture books versus a textbook.
But it's not, because the pictures mean words.
Do they mean words, or are they literally pictures of things that happen?
No, they're glyphs. I'm just saying glyphs are reading. And I anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get back into that argument from Stormlight. So Voldemar is scary for a few reasons. One, he can read. Two, he is patient, which the Scaldi in the past haven't been. And three, which we learned because much like I can't spell that.
Fair.
There's a scene where Fedra and Jocelyn move some barrels of meat around because they get shoved in a stockroom during a very important meeting.
Yeah.
That Gunther gets to get into because the gift of Fedra and Jocelyn is big enough. He's like, great gift. You're inner circle now. She uses some barrels to climb through the ceiling up onto a rafter over top of the mead hall, where the big important meeting's happening. And we find out that Isidore Deglamore, bad man.
What a dick.
Working with the Scaldi.
Yeah.
Isidore Deglamore, also the guy that was paying the Scaldi, Gunther, to raid into the south, which we learned earlier. We didn't talk about that, but he's been paying the Scaldi to fuck shit up. And the plan is that the Scaldi are going to send a force to the south, which is going to be buffeted by the Dongelines. But to the north, Deglamore is going to ride up, and he's going to buffet the northern force. But the northern force is actually going to be a lot larger than previously thought. And they're going to get past Deglamore, because Deglamore is going to allow them in so that Deglamore can take over Isandra's throne. And suddenly, all of the politics of the whole book are starting to fall into place.
Yeah. It is a play for the throne. And a scary one, because Isidore is a fucking idiot who thinks that he can, have the Scaldi on his side.
And so the plan is to actually betray that. And so the Scaldi are just going to kill them in the north anyway.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need him. We'll just take it for ourselves.
Which some people in fucking Terdange already know, because who else is talking? Who else is talking to the Scaldi war chief? Guys, how many hours does Melisande Sharzai have in the day? This woman is fucking everywhere.
I know, and she does it for funsies. She's not even trying to get, the throne herself. She's like, you know what? Let's fucking take over the world today. She unless maybe she does have these, crazy grand plans that are just so beyond me that I can't even begin to comprehend. But it literally feels like Melisande is like, I'm really good at this, and I'm just gonna fuck shit up because I can, and people are gonna die because I say so.
It feels like this whole series would have been so much easier for her if she had just killed Baudouin's mom.
Oh, maybe.
Because then she could have Baudouined him into the throne, and she would have just been queen. But because she was scared of Baudouin's mom, she didn't do that, and so she got Baudouin killed, even though she seemed into him.
But I think Baudouin and his mom, it's a little sticky, because Baudouin would have to, their plot and their plan to kill people to get the throne would have had to have succeeded perfectly, and then Melisande would have had to murder the Lioness of Azal before Baudouin married someone else, which would have, thrown suspicion on her. I think that, people would have been like, oh yeah, his mistress who wanted to be queen killed his mom because the mom didn't like her. That's very straightforward.
I don't know. Melisande Sharzai's done a lot of sticky shit in this series, and literally no one expects her of anything. People are always like, wait, Melisande? She did what? No. Not Melisande. She's only the most suspicious woman in the kingdom.
No, only to us.
I don't know, man. No, you're right. Even Anafel Delorne was like, oh no, she's great. She's one of my best friends.
Yeah, we used to fuck. It was great. It was a good time.
Melisande, the one thing about this book that I'm most excited to learn from the last chunk is what she wants, because I don't really get it.
I don't
actually... the fall of Terdange...
I think she's literally fucking shit up because she can.
Unless she's now fucking Isidore. Which might be possible.
But I have to believe that Melisande is smart enough to realize that the Scaldi might betray them.
No, she does know that.
Yeah.
She literally knows that. She wrote him a letter about it.
Yeah, so then why would she throw her lot in with
Oh,
Isidore,
yeah, because
right?
she's going to get Isidore killed.
Yeah.
I don't know what she wants.
She's just here for funsies.
Terdange seems great. Here's the weird thing about this book.
Without her.
No, for her.
No, I mean, Terdange would be, way more peaceful if Melisande wasn't around.
The weird thing about this book is that the people who are fucking the country up are doing it despite the fact that the country seems awesome. It seems like a wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any problems. Even the people who are poor don't seem like they're that bad off. You know what I mean? The people who work for Hyacinth seem mostly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is very weird to me that there's all these people who are like, we've got to burn this shit down. We live in absolute luxury and we fuck like crazy and we have these giant feasts.
It's
but
not
we have
about burning shit down. It's literally just playing for the throne. It's what it all comes down to. Everybody wants to be king.
I guess.
I think it's look, I always think that it's so like silly. Like, I'm like, you are one of the richest, most powerful, most influential person's house, whatever it is, and you're like, nah, not good enough. I gotta have the number one. I've literally never felt that desire in my entire life. It is so foreign to me that I read these and I'm like, these people are idiots, man. They could have just lived happily ever after.
Yeah. I think, like, it's I don't want to get political with it, but just bringing up, like, Elon Musk and his, like, bid to be a part of the White House right now. If I had his money, there is no amount of money or there's nothing that you could put in front of me that would make me want to then get involved in, like, if I could just live forever as a billionaire and just dip out of public life, I would so fast. Like, I don't understand the need that people have to be loved or to have power at that level. I just want to get by. Like, and I think that's evidence in our content, right? If we wanted to be much bigger content creators, we could make the shitty kind of, like, content that grows a lot faster than ours. There's a lot of, like, bullshit, cringe content that we could make.
Yeah.
That would make us have more followers. If we
just shit on everything all the time, like...
Well, no. Well, no. When we shit on things...
No, I mean, like, make, like, clickbaity, rage-baity, misogynistic, like, whatever.
We have managed to have integrity in what we make, which I'm very proud of, and make enough of a living where I'm good. Like, I don't need to have 10 million followers. I don't know that I would like that. You know what I mean? I like that I can go to cons and every once in a while someone walks up and says that they love my shit. But if people were tripping over themselves too, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
That would be the last thing on earth I wanted.
Yeah.
Or, like Voldemar Selig here, has to sit there for hours listening to people's problems.
Yeah.
Do you know how little I want to sit and listen to people's problems? Not at all. I never want to hear anybody else's problems. I don't care.
That's not totally
Deal with
true.
your own shit. I've got like 4 friends who I will listen to them bitch about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I love those 4 people, and I will listen to them. The majority of people, I don't give a fuck.
Meanwhile, we're fucking crying over the wildfires in LA, so that is a lie.
That is different than, like, bitching about, like, life being hard.
That is problems.
That's not problems. That is a like, once in my lifetime natural disaster.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That is different than people coming to me and being like, man, like, work was really hard today. There's like 5 people on earth who I care about that statement from.
Jesus Christ. Nerdy Wordy Stitch and Bitch. Nerdy Wordy Bitch Club, actually, is our new show.
I don't get why people want to be king. I want to be rich and comfortable.
Yeah.
And that is... Narandon, my opinions are definitely not sponsored by Honey. We've never been sponsored by Honey, and we never will be. Fuck that company. And by that, I mean PayPal, which, you know what? Fuck PayPal.
Yeah, honestly.
I hate
PayPal's a
PayPal.
fucking bitch.
You have to use it, but I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Once in our lifetime, isn't this the 3rd time in our lifetime? I don't think we've ever seen a fire this big in LA, Logan.
I mean, the ones in Alberta were pretty bad. Like, 4 years ago.
Not in LA, so...
No, but you said it's like a once-in-our-lifetime thing, and I have seen a whole bunch of fires in the past couple of years in Australia, in Fort Mac,
the Australian one.
LA.
Oh, God, I forgot about the Fort Mac fire.
That's what I mean. You're like, once in a lifetime, and I'm like, once in the last 5 years?
In LA.
3 times in the last 5 years? Sure, maybe in LA. They had fires, wasn't like 4... And it does matter. Does matter.
Sure, they've had fires,
awful.
but this is not on this scale.
Yeah.
And not this quickly. And not out of season.
Yeah.
Like...
Crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking awful, man.
Yeah. Anyway. So. We spent some time with Voldemar Selig. We don't need to spend too much time on him.
Voldemar Selig wants to be wants to go through the sexy book, the like textbook that the Night
this
Court
world's
use. Kama Sutra. Yeah.
So they go through it position by position. One of the reasons why Gunther's gift of her is such a big deal, it's really interesting actually, is that Fedra's like, oh, he uses giving me as a gift to acknowledge Voldemort as king.
Yes.
Because she is a gift fit for a king in Terdange, and so it's a way of building him up, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that ploy was definitely it was a good one. It's a good one. Gunter is not dumb. Mm-mm. He's not maybe the most politically savvy, but he's not dumb.
I don't think we're done with him either. I think he's gonna factor in later.
Yeah, I could see it.
It would be interesting if Voldemort falls at the end of this book, and in the next book, the leader of the Skaldi is Gunther. Because how would Fedra react to that?
Yeah.
It would be the only one that she'd have an emotional response to, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe someone she could work with.
Maybe.
Yeah. Someone who there is some trust built between them.
Yeah. So living with Selig is not like living with Gunter at all. Everybody fucking hates her. Everyone's super sus of her. Everyone's giving her that side eye. She's very unwelcome. There's no Hedvig to make her feel comfortable.
No.
It's pretty rough. Gunter takes them to go see a healer?
No, Voldemort does.
Sorry, is that not what I said?
Voldemort takes them to go see his mentor, who is essentially Odin?
Kind of.
And might actually now
He's got a bird.
But now that we know
the
met
gods
the Master
are real,
of the Straits, I'm like, is that actually Odin?
Could be.
He has one eye, a raven is chilling on his shoulder. This dude might just be Odin.
Yeah.
Threk, I understand that he's a priest of Odin, but how many times do gods show up as a priest to themselves? And it's just actually them. That's just the thing gods do. That's god shit right there. I'm just saying.
You never know.
We've never seen Loder and Odin in the same room, is all I'm saying, okay?
That's true. They get an ointment to heal Jocelyn's hands because Selig wants to learn the Brotherhood fighting style. And
Bryce and Thark both say Odin loves, disguises.
Yeah.
Except it's not a disguise. He's just dressed as himself.
But that's the best disguise.
It's like Bryan Cranston showing up to Comic-Con with a mask of his Breaking Bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's so close that you would never suspect it.
Yeah.
I do love that he plucked out his own eye to emulate Odin, and he's like, well, that was dumb, and you learned a lesson.
Or is that the story he came up with to tell people why he doesn't have an eye, because he is Odin?
Maybe.
I'm just saying, this guy might be Odin.
He could be. He absolutely could be.
Fedra does not have sex with him. Yet.
Yet. He's like, you know what? You might be a trap, but I would have fallen for you as well. And she's like, oh my goodness. I'm blushing.
Throughout all of this, one of the things that keeps happening is the diamond around Melisande, or the diamond that Melisande put around Fedra's neck.
Oh, keeps
gets taken by Gunther. Gunther wears it for a bit. When they meet Voldemort, Voldemort's like, I like that diamond. And Gunther's like, dope, it's yours. And then Voldemort's like, you know what would be great if you wore this? And he puts it back around Fedra's neck. And she's like, fuck, I want to get rid of this fucking diamond.
Yeah. Jocelyn did kill a man, which is why he had the, sores on his hands.
Yeah, but the guy deserved it.
I mean, yeah.
Victor Destano, we've skipped over a few things. All right, too much happens in this book. You want us to go beat by beat? I don't know how. We're trying to talk about shit. And every time we talk about a new thing, we forget about an old thing. It's too much. It's too big. It's too
we were like, we'll just go this section by section. But there really is
dense.
Not a word wasted.
But you could do a 9-hour book club about this section.
I know.
We could do 3 hours about the crew arc.
I know.
Knowing us, we will.
I don't have time for that.
No, I want to watch some of the Bills game, and it starts in 40 minutes, okay? I'm excited for the Bills game.
Right. Jocelyn kills a man because Fedra goes to say goodbye to Gunter and people, and she walks into the wrong camp, and immediately the Thane of that camp is like, I'm gonna fuck this woman who randomly walked into my camp, and he tries to rape her, and Jocelyn fights him off.
Like a whirling dervish.
Yeah, Nud arrives and kind of is able to like vouch for what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Selig is very unhappy because it like cost lives and it made things complicated.
And so Selig fucking helm hammer hands Jocelyn in the face.
It literally just bops him in the temple. But it is also, I think, frustrating for Selig because it's a reminder of how uncivilized in certain ways his people are. He has these dreams of these like fancy halls and politicking. And the people that he is surrounded... He's like fucking Scar in The Lion King. He's like, I'm surrounded by idiots. None of these people can keep up with me. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, which is interesting because it does imply that there's a possibility that he can be reasoned with. In a way that, like, if he was a more boorish kind of man, he couldn't be.
I actually don't know if that's true. Because in my head... I'm like, Voldemort Skellig, you have already accomplished so much more than any other of the Scaldi before you. Why don't you start building your own fancy halls? Why you gotta take them from someone else? It's because they literally cannot get away from that boorish, aggressive, warmongering nature. No matter how much he seems to try and... He's like, I want this thing. I literally cannot do what it takes to have this thing because of... how myself and my people believe the world works.
Yeah, but I also think that it's partially how the people south of you view you. And I think that there's an element of them culturally where they are a little bit stuck in the perception of them. And I think that winning this long-standing war with Terdange would be proving to themselves that they can be more. And I think that that's how Voldemort's seen it. Like, it's not enough to just start building that stuff. It is also about proving that we can be more than these tribal raiders that we're viewed as. We can raise an army. We can. And, like, I think that the inspiration to change as a culture needs a spark, and I think Voldemort Selig sees beating Terdange at this war that has been going on forever as the opportunity to inspire change among his people.
Unfortunately, I think that spark is a reinforcement of the culture that they already have and the lives they already lead.
Oh, I very much disagree with that.
It's just killing. It's just killing and taking and plundering.
Sure, but every culture has been raised through killing. Like, there's no human society, like, fucking Canada is here because of killing. Like, we all kill, and then once we kill, we do other stuff. But there's no culture on Earth that doesn't have that in it.
Skellig wants to be like Terdange. And Terdange was founded and built and cultivated not through war.
We don't know that.
Okay, unless the other, like, some of the teachings we've learned about Eloa and his companions are correct and others aren't, which might be the case. But it was only a couple hundred years ago. I can't imagine they would change that much. Like, it is just fascinating to me that Voldemort sees, I want to be like Terdange, but I'm not going to do what they did to get it. I'm just going to fucking take it. And he thinks that that is enough to be like the people of Terdange and to have what they want. He's going to take his people in there who are going to loot and plunder and kill, and it is just going to burn Terdange to the ground. There's not going to be enough for them to then build off of. It's just going to be the Scaldi in a different location with prettier buildings. And I just don't know if he realizes that. It's founded on fucking not fighting.
Okay, but Terdange, I think you kind of have to pull Terdange out of it a little bit because it was founded by angels. We don't have any societies on Earth founded by angels. So our societies are founded on war. And I think that I disagree with you only in that throughout history, tribes coming together to win a war together then makes them a united front, right? Like that
until they fall apart again. Like those, or
until they build something. To say that until they fall apart again implies that is the outcome that our human societies don't fall into.
If you take a group of people and you reinforce the worst of them, they will fall back on that. Threx says he needs something to unite them, and an opponent is the easiest way to do it. I agree, it's the easiest way, and I think it's going to be the way that would backfire on them.
But, like, the Ottoman Empire also did that, and then became the Ottoman Empire and ruled, like, a third of the planet. You know what I mean? Like, the Romans were a bunch of tribes, and then they became Rome. The England was, what, like 14 different sects of England, and then they became England, and then they built an empire that ruled over fucking 70% of the planet. Like,
Yeah, but that is at a time
all
of
these
the
countries
world that is different.
But that is the time they're in.
I don't think so, because they have established countries like England.
I just think
like
that you
France.
have. I think that you have a really. I think that your view of the after of winning this war and how it would bring them together is very narrow. If you think that it's like after they're just going to be barbarians again, I don't think that that's the case.
I think that Voldemort is flawed in his logic of, if he actually wants what he says that he wants, he's going about it in a way that is familiar and easy and is not going to give him the results that he wants.
But it works, though. Uniting to win a war and then coming home and being the victors and building a country off of the fact that you united works. That is a thing that has worked throughout human history. We know that works. And holding it together after that victory with the heroes of that war being friends who fought and toiled and built something in the battlefield and then came home and they were the lords of the different parts of the kingdom that now stand tall. I mean, that's literally fucking Alethkar in Stormlight, right?
Yeah,
like,
and it nearly falls the fuck apart.
But it doesn't.
Because they keep fucking bickering
but
between one another. Only because of Dalinar and magic bullshit.
But that is... I think that is more realistic than you do. Because I think that you're not being... I feel like you're ascribing a level of barbarism to them that I don't think is fair.
That is how they see themselves.
But I think that Voldemort is right in that uniting them as an army and taking them down, and if they win, united, will change them. I think that he is correct in that. And I don't think that it's a guarantee, right? It's not like that is the way to do it. Mm-hmm. But I think that there is a bigger chance of success in that than I think you do. Than you're ascribing to it.
I'm not talking about success. I think that it is interesting and that, like, Selig as a character...
Yeah.
...is like, I want to be better than the people that we are now. I want to heighten our culture. I want to heighten our peoples. I want to take what we have and bring it to the next level. And so instead of starting at home and building up my people here and creating a written language, we're just going to go take what these other people have.
But it's not I don't think it's necessarily about taking what they have, right? It's about winning this war that they've been at forever.
Sure, and I just think that instead of focusing on what they have at home, Selig is reinforcing their worst habits of plundering and raping and stealing and
But that's what his people care about. And so if he can show them that he can lead them to victories in the things they already care about, that might give him the power to push them in the direction of things they don't. But he can't just, without proving to them that he's a worthy leader in the things they already care about, he's not going to be able to convince them to care about stuff they don't care about.
He's already kind of proven himself. They've called him a king.
No, they're here to acknowledge him for the first time as a king. He has this moment. He has this one chance to do one thing that will unite his people for generations. Uh-huh. He has to do it.
And he chooses war.
Because it's the only thing they care about. But if he was like, all right, I'm glad I got you all here. If all of you could grab some paints and start creating beautiful art, that would be great. They'd be like, fuck you, no, we want to keep raiding. The money from the raiding is good. We're not going to drop that because you want us to finger paint. Like, that's not... He has to start...
I don't know if finger painting is what I would consider building a culture.
There are some very talented finger painters out there, okay?
Sure.
He has to start by winning something for them. Something they already care about. And then he can do the other stuff. But he knows he can't start with we're all going to learn how to read. That's not something that these people are going to care about immediately from a man who, while there are myths and there's stories about him, has not proven himself
That's
to
what I
them
mean.
yet.
He is taking, like, the easy choice.
I don't think it's easy, though. I think it's his only choice in a lot of ways.
All right.
But I don't think it's easy. I think uniting a nation of people who have never been united to go to war is never easy. That's hard as fuck, right? And to be running correspondence with all of these people secretly behind kings and nobles' backs.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want to take a community of people,
yeah,
and make them less barbaric,
yeah,
reinforcing their barbarian tendencies, maybe it's not going to be the best way to do that long term.
And I think that doesn't. I think that is a path to him not having power in the society very quickly, and it just wouldn't matter if he did that. He wouldn't matter to them as much if he wasn't leading them towards something they cared about.
But they all united under him before he announced his war plan.
Because they knew they knew they were going to war.
No, they didn't.
It was the expected outcome of this. They're excited for
when?
this. Since always. Fucking
No, they did not expect a war. I don't think that's true.
Yes, they did. Fucking Fedra and the courthouse or the courtyard conversation was like someone's uniting them against us.
That is only that. Okay, so that specific
Scuff Andy, thank you for that super chat. Good morning.
Good morning, Scuff Andy. Thank you.
I was
for
like,
that.
we need to get through the Voldemort stuff so we can get to all the other stuff, and now we're stuck in the Voldemort stuff.
Well,
I
know, but like, I think that is important to note that Gunter Stedding is being paid to manufacture and fabricate this tension between the two places.
Yeah.
The oh my god. Skellige in Witcher is too fucking close to both of these words, and it makes me want to fucking die. The Scaldi are not actually at war with Terdange. There's this one Stedding that's booping around. I don't actually think they all showed up to the all thing expecting to all go to war together. This seemed like a surprise at that meeting, where he's like, hey, I've been corresponding. We've got a way to fucking...
I think that part was a surprise. The correspondence was a surprise. Maybe a little bit of one. But I think the, like, let's unite and go fuck shit up is not a surprise.
I don't know. I definitely didn't think
I don't think that they showed up thinking that he was going to announce that they were going to start writing down their history. Like, I did
not say that.
But my point is that, like, I understand what you're saying, that you're, like... I understand that you want there to be a softer approach to changing their culture, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't think that the people of that culture would give a shit without him having proven something massive to them. I think that he would have been like, let's be better. And they'd be like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, I don't know how that would have gone. What he's doing makes sense within the culture that he was raised in.
I get it. I'm saying that he is falling into the trap of his own culture. That they can't build up their own things. That they have to go and take it.
But they're not going to go steal Terdange's culture. They're going to go beat Terdange in a war so that they can be united, so they can build their own culture after. I think that that's where we view this as different. I don't think that Voldemort wants to go take the culture of Terdange. I don't think he gives a shit about that. I think he wants to unite the people so that they can build great things together post-war.
He says he wants, like, the lifestyle of those people.
Sure, within what he knows of it, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. Interesting debate. Right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you were arguing. I'm just, like, pointing out that, like, the barbarian people are very much following into the barbarian trap of being barbarians. Like...
And I'm saying that to call them barbarians is, for doing this, is insinuating that almost every human culture on Earth were barbarians to start their culture.
We're barbaric? Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, like, but this is how, like, so much of human history is gone. And so to like...
But not Terdange.
Yes, because they're not humans. Like, that isn't fair. They are not human people. They are literally god people, angels with magic powers. To compare them isn't fair. They were given culture by God. They didn't build it. It's not theirs. Eloah and his companions came from heaven and fucked them into a new way of life. They didn't build a culture. They didn't have to do the work of that. They just got one. They took the easy route of God coming down and being like, this is who you are now. These are the 13 things that you do.
Yeah, sure.
Voldemort has to start from nothing. He doesn't have a god telling him what his culture is going to be. They have to build something. And building something is so much harder than having angels come and fuck it into you. It just is. Voldemort's in a much more difficult position than the people of Terdange, because it's not fucking like some predetermined shit from the Lord.
Yeah, sure.
So I just don't think that's a fair comparison.
All right.
Yeah. Fedra and Jacqueline escape. They fuck there for a while. Let's get through it. They leave. Voldemort goes out on a hunt. Fedra comes up with a plan, which is literally just, hey, Jacqueline, wear this. That's the whole plan.
What?
The whole plan of the escape is, Jacqueline, you're gonna wear this fur hood, and we're just gonna hope nobody notices.
Oh yeah, I mean, disguise is very tropey. We are going to sneak with disguises. That checks out.
Yeah.
They do have to murder one of the White Wolf guys.
Yeah.
But it's fine. He's a little bit of a dick about it, so Fedra feels slightly less bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Whatever makes it easier for you.
Jacqueline is so dedicated to his van braces that he's not willing to take them off for even a second, so that they don't get caught. Which is, again, where, like, the oaths get a little... I get it, Jacqueline.
I don't think that's an oath. I think that's if we are discovered in close quarter, like if someone walks up to us,
yeah,
I can fight them better if I have, like...
Aren't they because his uncle gave them to him?
Well, that's why he wanted to take them. I'm assuming he put them actually on his body because he can fight better with them.
No, she's like, people will see them. And he's like, I need them. I need to have them on. And she's like, okay, but if we get caught... It's both. It's both. And so I think that this is more about Jacqueline not believing in her plan and being like, they're gonna see us at some point. I have a hood on. They're gonna see us at some point, so I might as well have my van braces for when that happens. I think it's more him having a lot less faith in her plan than she does.
Yeah, so it's not an oath.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's like, I gotta be prepared at all times.
And so they escape. It goes real good. She keeps telling people, Voldemort wants me to come fuck him on the hunt. And people are like, that makes sense.
Actually, yeah.
And so they get horses. They get, like, literally, like, days of food. And they take off. And she's like, I should have asked for a tent. Because Voldemort is out there. He would have asked for a tent to fuck me in, and we could have had a tent. But instead, we're going to nearly freeze to death almost all the time for 4 days. They ride through the blizzard.
They do run into a couple situations.
There's some White Wolves on the border.
Yeah, they definitely gotta do some of the fighting stuff.
Which Jacqueline is like, oh, man, I don't know if I can... Jacqueline! She's gonna die if you don't. Stop being like this. Your job is to protect her. You're gonna have to kill some guys. For fuck's sake, dude. You're the worst bodyguard ever. If that 1 second he hesitated against the White Wolves had gotten her killed, he would have failed in his oath. Mm-hmm. Stop hesitating and just fucking get with the fact that you gotta kill some people because they're trying to kill you.
It was a sick fight.
Oh my god. I'm just exhausted by him.
So, yeah, they're traveling for days.
Yeah.
Somehow still alive.
Yeah.
They think that, they're doing okay. They think that they're probably got to be like almost out of danger when Selig has sent his fastest scouts ahead to take them down.
Yeah.
And there's a really sick snow fight between them versus Jacqueline, literally.
And Phaedra. Phaedra gets a shield, and she kills a guy.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Phaedra doesn't fuck around.
A guy sneaks up on Phaedra, and she's holding a shield, and he, like, grabs it and is like, come on.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me go or I'll kill you. And he's like, yeah. And so she shanks him, because he doesn't see that she's hiding the knife behind the shield.
Yeah, poor Harold.
That shit was sad, because Harold was not a bad dude.
He's just doing his best, you know. He's like, I vouched for you. This is unfortunate.
This is such a D&D moment, because they slept, and so they don't have points of exhaustion. But even though there's like 7 guys, Jacqueline at 0 points of exhaustion versus 7 guys who have 2 points of exhaustion, they're like rolling at disadvantage on their ability checks, and they're also half movement speed.
Yeah.
So Jacqueline manages to win this. And points of exhaustion came into play here. And not 2024 points of exhaustion. I'm talking 2014, when points of exhaustion actually fucking did something.
Oh my god.
Not this -1 to a roll, -2 to a roll bullshit they put in 2024. I'm talking about that real shit. That dangerous exhaustion. Where you're like, we gotta go to bed.
I'm exhausted. I need sleep immediately.
Yeah. Harold had given her a cloak. And so she's very sad to kill him. But he do be dead now. There is nothing redder than fresh spilled blood on virgin snow.
Like I said,
a great line.
You can open this fucking book and just pull any line, and it's fucking art.
Yeah.
So they fight. They're not doing too great, but they do manage to find a cave that they take refuge in, and it's abandoned. And there's even a little hole in the roof for like a fire.
Yeah.
You know, they're winning. They're winning, and so they're feeling good. And they decide now is a good time to take that V card. You know.
Yeah.
Jocelyn lasts.
We were just talking about virgin snow, but now there's no virgins here.
No virgins. Jocelyn lasts a lot longer than what I would have thought for his first time.
Again, not a human.
Well, yeah, okay.
He is a magical angel boy with super sex powers.
That's fair.
Like, I understand that he is not human, because he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Phaedra is very bad at sewing, so she does sew up his wound very poorly, but it is at least sewn up.
Do you think that he's got a little bit of Kushiel in him? Oh, maybe that's why he lasts so long, is that every time she bounces on him, it hurts so much that it is limiting his ability to come. You know what I mean?
I think if he was
That's why I took it back immediately and was like, maybe the pain is what kept him from going over the edge.
Maybe that's it.
And Phaedra was looking at that wound being like, oh my god, I would be coming so much more if I was just cut open like that.
Jesus Christ.
I just want you to sew my flesh, Jacqueline. Sew me up like one of those fucking mojitos.
Yeah. Mojitos.
It's the guy with all of the sewn patches on him in Jujutsu Kaisen.
I was like a tequila drink.
Arzu just commissioned a chapter reaction for next week. It's going to be 87.
Hell yeah. Thank you for that, Arzu.
Arzu, you have a free reaction. You need to use it. We gave you a free one for handling all the reaction nonsense. You need to tell us what we're reacting to for you.
That's fair.
And so they fuck, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacqueline wakes up, and he feels bad about it. He's a not happy little boy. But then they look up at the roof of the cave, and what's there? Glinting in the morning light?
A glyph.
Yeah, it's fucking Eloah's shit.
Yeah, this is the cave where him and his companions rested.
Yeah, Eloah's shit.
So they basically, God was like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Jacqueline definitely does not feel that way. But Phaedra is essentially recreating, like, not the Stations of the Cross, but the Stations of Eloah's, this world's version of the Station of the Cross. And she's on her way home. We get, oh my god, there's so much, this club's gonna be so long. We get into fucking Terdage. We sneak past the Scoldy by climbing over the mountain. We have to kill all the horses and eat them. It's very sad. I really did not like that the horses died. But we pull it off. So then we get into Terdage. We run into a lord guy. We roll some high charisma checks. And then when that doesn't work, because they weren't high enough, we do a little bit of fighting and a running. Then we meet a caravan of nice, kindly, like, local people.
Except the pony.
Who are essentially the Tuatha from Wheel of Time, because they're so kind and, like, normal that people would not check their wagons for shit. They're super great. Bill the pony lives. The horses die, though. Because Bill the pony can't die. They're Jews, officially, CM. Wait, are they actually Yeshuite? Are we... Wait. Are we saying that we met the Jews? Whatever. You know what? We can't do the real world comparisons. Is Jesus real? Are we gonna fuck Jesus? I feel like people would be more upset about this book series if we fuck Jesus.
Wait, but I thought the Picti were the oldest people. That later that they meet. Right?
What?
The oldest people in the world?
No. The Picti are the oldest people here in Terdage. They're like the natives of Terdage. Right?
Terdage? No.
Yeah, because I thought the Picti were the people who lived in Terdage before Elua came there.
Did they live in Terdage? I thought they had their own place. So they're... I thought they were the Celts as well, but then they were like, we're the oldest people, and you were like, oh, like the Jews.
Yeah, but the Jews are the chosen people.
Oh, I thought they were the oldest people.
No, the oldest people would be... predate all of this.
Okay.
The Picti are the Albans. Great.
Sure.
Let's move on.
Yeah, anyways.
There's too many fictional
but
not fictional races for us to get into.
Well, and I don't know enough about the real world that you could just be like, yeah, these are the Jews, and I'd be like, sure, if you say so. Like,
yeah. Logan says Yeshua is how you spell Jesus in his native language, Aramaic. We would translate it to Joshua modernly. Yeah, honestly, if my name was Joshua, I would also come up with a stage name.
Wow. You're such a dick.
Yeah. If my name was Joshua, I'd be like, call me Jesus.
Joshua.
It's just so bland. Name one good Josh.
Is that why you changed your name from David to Nerdy?
I mean, that just kind of happened, but I love it. Name one good Josh. A single one.
We have a friend named Josh, and he was at our wedding.
Name a good one, though.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Chapter 92. Okay, thank you, Arzu. Put that in the mod chat for us, please.
Okay, 87 and 92.
Love it. Yeah, anyways, I guess they hitch up with the Jews and make it back to, oh my god, what's the city called? Now I'm
they split with the important part is they split with the Jews, and they... I'm not gonna make that joke. That's wildly inappropriate. They split with the Jews. They do try and give them the diamond, and they're like, no. And they're like, for the love of God, please take this off. And they're like, no, that's too much. And she's like, I can't get rid of this.
Please take this fucking diamond away. So they get to the city of Eloah, and she goes to Hyacinth. Jocelyn's like, are you sure? We could go to any of these people. And she's like, no, Hyacinth. And they make the right choice.
Yeah, Hyacinth, best boy. How do they get to Hyacinth? They threaten children in a barn.
Yep. Hey, you do what you gotta do, all right?
Yeah. When they go into the city, they check their mouths.
There's a plague.
Which is very similar to that's one of the checks that they would do at Ellis Island when people would come to America. That was one of the big things, is they would check their eyes and their mouths.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, make sure that disease didn't make it in.
Which island is this?
Ellis Island.
Sure.
You don't know Ellis Island?
Where is it?
Oh, Ellis Island is off the coast of New York. It is where ships from Europe landed for decades and decades and decades. And it's where a lot of immigration happened, like from early immigration into the United States.
I thought the island was Manhattan.
There are other islands. There's Staten Island. But Ellis Island it's not that big. It's like 3 buildings.
Oh. Okay.
And it was where
it's like the checkpoint.
It's where you were processed through into the States.
Right.
And it's where a lot of people changed their names. To more American, or had their names changed to more American sounding names.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very fun.
And like when you do like the Statue of Liberty tour, you take the boat and you do Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty. Because it's kind of they're like a thing together.
Oh, I don't remember seeing Ellis Island when we sailed past the Statue of Liberty.
It was right there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You didn't know that it was Ellis Island?
No. Had no idea.
No, that's not true. We talked about it. We were on the bow of our cruise ship, and I pointed to you and went, "That's Ellis Island. I've been there."
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Distracted by the giant lady.
Yeah, big lady. Not as big as you think she's gonna be.
No.
But then you're like, oh yeah, they made it in France and they shipped it across the ocean. You're like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be absolutely monstrous.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people came to America through Ellis Island, and if you go there, be prepared. Some of what happened there was horrific. Real rough stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Much like all elements of American history.
You mean they don't treat immigrants well?
If you were healthy, yeah. If you weren't, some real diabolical shit went down.
Jeez. All right.
Yeah, the tests and shit that they would put people through, because, they didn't want to bring a plague into the States, right? And so they were very thorough. It's pretty big for Statue of Mankind. That's true, Logan. It is big. It's just, when you're a kid and you think about the Statue of Liberty, it's like the biggest thing ever. And you get there and you're like, it's not the biggest thing ever. It's still massive. You know what I mean? It's just not the biggest thing ever. But when I was a kid, I thought it was going to be like, reach into the sky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It's that weird thing of the way in which media sometimes, when you grow up with these things in stories and in movies, they feel so massive that you can't imagine them. Mm-hmm. And when you see them in real life, they have a realistic perspective on them. And they're big, but they're not the like larger than life thing that your brain concocts when you see it for the first time in a film.
Yeah.
Like when I saw it in the X-Men movies and they're fighting in the head of the Statue of Liberty, in my mind it was like a football stadium. You know what I mean? But it's not.
Yeah.
But it felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we get home. Hyacinth's mom has unfortunately passed away from the plague that is currently
they're trying to figure out how
people.
to talk to Ysand.
Yeah.
And they figure they can trust the king's poet.
Felicis de Mornay.
Who took Phaedra to see the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little buddies.
Yeah. And again, great plan. It works. We get all the way to Ysandra real quick. Because this section is mostly about traveling and then doing something really quickly on a place and then getting on the road again.
Yeah. So basically, we get to the queen,
mm-hmm.
all right, and she has a lot of questions. She doesn't want to believe that they're going to be betrayed, but they are able to convince her, and then she calls a meeting with other people that she can trust, and they all don't really want to be convinced either, but they kind of have to be. Ysand reveals, that she was betrothed a long time ago to the King of England or whatever.
The Correct Alba.
Yeah.
Not the King of England at all.
Isn't Alba England in this world?
Is it? Oh, I have the map in my head backwards.
I think someone said that, and I was like, sure, yeah.
Oh, in my head,
it is, yes. Okay.
Alba was east of France, and so I thought it was like Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the other way, isn't it? Alba's west. Okay.
I have no idea what this map looks like.
We've got to cross the channel.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that's the Straits.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I understand now.
I think.
I understand what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, she loves this boy because he doesn't actually really care to marry her because of the throne. That's not what they're about. But he lost his own throne, and so he can't actually help her out until he has his own throne back to then marry her so that they can live happily ever after.
Well, and part of that is because the Master of the Straits will not allow them to cross until the Black Boar reigns in Alba, because right now the Red Bull reigns in Alba. And that guy fuck. He has the dopest fucking name. But Mailcon, like Mailcon is a dope name.
Sure, yeah. Sounds like Maelstrom.
But he is not the Black Boar.
No.
So we gotta go get the Black Boar to reign in Alba because somebody said that like 10 years ago. And so it's time to go on a journey. Who's going on that journey? Jacqueline, Hyacinth, Phaedra, and Quintilius Rouse.
Well, we gotta go pick up Quintilius.
Ye old scoundrel.
Yeah, we gotta go pick him up. So what we do is we're gonna go head up to go grab old Quintilius, who is very loyal still to Ysandra.
Oh, Ysandra gives a ring. It's really important.
Signet ring.
It's Roland's ring.
Yeah.
And so Phaedra gets to wear the ring of her dad's lover for a bit, and I think that is beautiful.
It's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Me
Monk, it is a good thing that Phaedra knows all of the languages.
Yeah, seriously. Very, very helpful for this time because they all ride off.
That's kind of just Europeans, though.
Mm.
You know what I mean? North Americans, like, maybe you speak 1 or 2 languages. I know a lot of European people who are like, oh yeah, I speak like 4 languages because, like, that town over there is German. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, I can drive to Germany. I'm just around it a lot. It's just more. Sure. It's more common because all of the languages are closer together there. Where like here, there's not a lot of reason to know more than 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, and not fluent, right? But just enough to like I can drive west and I can like go to the pastry shop I like 2 towns over.
Right.
But it's all the signs are in German because I have to cross the border.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they go on a journey. There's a whole scuffle between Jocelyn and the head of the Carceline Brotherhood, because he says he's broken his vows, he needs to atone, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going on a journey, and he's like, okay, well, you suck then, you're not one of us, but also we are trying to
abjured.
They're also trying to redeem the name of the Carceline Brotherhood, because right now the public knowledge is that Phaedra and Jocelyn conspired and killed...
We didn't talk about that! Yeah, they've been convicted of murder.
Yeah, and then they fucked off and disappeared, and so they had to, like, convince Ysandra that they're trustworthy and that is not what happened.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Anyone who like met Phaedra and saw her with Delane is like, there's no way that she could have killed him, right? Which is why King's Poet, she gets it.
Oh, and also Melisande Charzai's one mistake was not
killing Phaedra.
Not killing all the guards who saw Phaedra that day.
Yeah.
Because
they're able to corroborate
Phaedra's
the story.
like, go talk to the guards. They saw us go with Melisande that day.
Yeah.
And the guard's like, yeah, we saw that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Jocelyn ends up in this weird position of being, like, kicked out of the Carcelines, but not punished by the Carcelines because he becomes a, like, steward of Phaedra for the crown.
Well, that's the thing is it's for the crown, so like it's real important.
And so he kind of ends up like with importance, but it's a weird social position he gets put into. Also,
they're not happy with him.
Phaedra goes and gets sex tortured into being cleansed.
Oh yes, before they leave, she goes to the priests of Kushiel, like disguised, and they make her feel better.
But the crazy part about it, they whip her until she has open welts on her back, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, damn, that's pretty torturous. They pour salt water on her back.
Yeah,
that was where I was like, that's crazy.
That's fucking rude, man.
Like, getting whipped is one thing. To have salt, it's a good thing she is magic.
Angel.
And so we head off. We make our way. How are we gonna get there without anybody knowing? We gotta Hyacinth. You got the Dormand. He's like, yeah, we gotta go with my people, the Sanguinistas. We're gonna take the secret roads that we take, and get there that way. And they're like, oh, secret roads. Cool.
Basically, the most direct, easiest way to get to Quintilius Rouse is, and she does finish her mark, yes. But, that...
Right.
Yeah.
No, we can't skip over that. The queen brings in the Marquis.
Yes.
And his fucking apprentice is dead
from the plague. Yeah.
And so he's like, you're gonna be my last piece.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have time to teach anyone. I can't, like, this is it.
That's
the end
so
of the line.
sad.
I know.
It's so sad to think that this art is now, like, and there's other markers, right? But, like, his style is gone.
Yeah.
In a generation.
Yeah. Fedra will be the last, probably oldest one to bear it. I think she's gonna live a while.
Live for fucking ever.
Yeah.
I mean, she might end up immortal on a rock.
Maybe. You never know. It's a beautiful moment. Honestly, I was like, I needed this. Fedra needed this. And also, she loved the process of it. And he's like, fucking...
I do love that he's like, oh, you've learned how to not move. And then he, like, hits a certain spot and she comes. She's and he's like, no, you're still...
No, lie still.
Preposterous. And so they head out. Jocelyn is going to be...
a bard.
Wearing a... No, he's literally wearing a fucking...
He's Tom Maryland.
He's the cloak. Yeah. What are they called in Wheel of Time?
I can't.
What is Tom Maryland? He's a... Not a bard. He's a... What is that fucking... Gleeman! Thank you. He's a Gleeman. And then they're going to go as Sanguinistas. And they hit the road. And all the Sanguinistas are super kind to Hyacinth. And he's never been among his people. And so as he's traveling down this road, down the road, down the Sanguinista road, he is being heralded by these people. And he finds for the first time the love that he dreamed of in the city, but he never left. And it's really beautiful. And he gets to this... The Sanguinistas are big horse traders. And so he gets to this big horse trade that's going down. And he's like, where is this family? It's my family. And he goes and he meets his granddad.
I'm so sorry. What is a Sanguinista?
What are they called?
The Cinganos?
Cinganos, same thing. It's the dyslexic version.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. He meets his grandpappy.
Yeah.
We found out that his mother was lost to them because his uncle made a bet for her virginity. And once she loses that, she's basically an outcast, awful thing that the Cingano...
How is that her fault?
Couldn't tell you.
And why did she have to go through with the bet?
I don't know. Well, no, she was tricked, remember?
No, I know, but, like, she's getting blamed for something that's so not her fault.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like, it kind of makes me hate the Sanguinistas.
Yeah, their whole idea of, like, purity and stuff was, awful, truly. They're a very flirtatious people, but, you gotta be a virgin, otherwise you, are outcast.
I studied Sanguinista in college, that's why. It's a religion.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no idea what that is.
All right, you talk about this. I'm going to go.
Okay.
I'm done. Fun book club, guys. See you tomorrow.
Have fun. Yeah, so this reveal was pretty horrific. Because once you consider what Hyacinth's mother went through, and the fact that it wasn't even her own fault, and that her people blame her for it anyways, is so fucked up on so many levels. I hated it. It made me hate them all. Very much so. Because they were like, yeah, we're going to keep the uncle around that literally ruined her life. He's not going to own anything, but we're still going to keep him around, I guess, for some reason. So anyways, Hyacinth's granddaddy is like, oh, Anastasia was my favorite. You are welcome to stay with us. So they have a really fun night. They have a really fun night. They're hanging out. Horse trading starts tomorrow. They do the talking, and then they do the looking, they do the talking, and then on the third day is when they do all of the actual trading, kind of. But most of the trades have already been concluded by the third day, because by the third day is actually when the people from Terdange will show up, because they'll be like, ooh, haha, we're so sneaky, we're so smart, like, we found out that this is here. Meanwhile, it's all a plan to swindle them out of money, which is hilarious. However, the people that show up, guess who it is? Fucking Melisande. She's like a goddamn cockroach. She keeps popping up everywhere. And Fedra is not well. She kind of loses herself in a way that, okay. Before getting to the Master of the Straits, I was like, oh, this is like shock. But now I'm like, does Melisande have some kind of fucking magic powers? Like legitimate magic powers? Because Phaedra loses her shit. She's like incapable of functioning for several minutes while people are trying to talk to her, trying to shake her. And the only thing that brings her out of this is Hyacinth speaking the Dromond. Which is obviously taboo among his people. The men are not allowed to see the future in the past. Only the women are. And so Hyacinth becomes an outcast to pull Phaedra out of her stupor, which was very sad. She's like, you could see it in his face, but he had already made his choice, and there was nothing to be done. His grandfather does give him a chance. It's like, hey, if you renounce the Dromond, you won't be Vrajna. And he's like, well, the Dromond is what my mother gave me and taught me, and it's all I have left of her, and it's what she made me, and so then I am Vrajna. And they're like, all right, I guess you're dead to us.
It's sad that Hyacinth literally just loses everything this whole book for Phaedra.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what does she give him in return?
She gives him a nice
single
book.
night.
Yeah.
Of
that's expensive. That is very expensive. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's very sad, but Hyacinth, what I think is really lovely about it, jokes aside, is that Hyacinth gives up what he dreamt family was in favor of what his actual family was. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, he is, in this moment, yes, it's about saving Phaedra from walking over to Melisande, who's just here for some reason. But
she's getting horses. Because she knows there's a war gonna come.
It is about embracing the woman who raised him over the dream of a family that he had. Yeah. And, like, who knows if these people would have been good for him? Who knows if he would have liked this life? Mm-hmm. He doesn't, right? It's just, it's like we were talking about the size of the fucking Statue of Liberty. It's so easy to imagine it until it's real. Yeah. And then you have to deal with the reality of it. And the reality for Hyacinth in this moment is that he can't just walk away from what his mom means to him. Yep. And what his mom gave him. And I found that to be just beautiful. I really, really loved the storytelling of it.
Beautifully tragic, for sure.
Hyacinth, everything about Hyacinth is beautifully tragic. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I this was a great moment in the book. Yeah. And also just like the reinforcing the pull Melisande has over Phaedra.
Well, I was like, is it magical? Like, it's got to be magic of some kind. Because before we met the Master of the Straits, I was like, oh, there's not a lot of magic in this book. But now that we've met him, I'm like, oh, I think there's some magic bullshit going on. There's some angel connection between them. Like Phaedra is literally Kushiel's chosen.
And she is literally Kushiel's blood.
Yeah.
So, like, she might be drawn to her by her being the, like, offspring shit. Of, her literal god. Yeah. Yeah, wild. And so we get to the Duc de Morban. And the Duc de Morban is like, hey, you can't, I'm not going to let you go. I want to know what the fuck's going on. And she's like, if I fuck you, will you let us go and give us one day?
We just need to get to Quintilius Rouse, so if you let us get there, I will give you one night. And he's like, all right.
Fuck, I love BDSM so much. Okay. Yeah. I want to spank you.
But it's like a once in a lifetime experience.
Cut your body up with little knives. And she's like, great, you can do that, but we need 24 hours after. And he's like, fine. And so they do that. And it's great. Duc de Morban knows what he's more doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
honestly, Phaedra coming back to, like, what she knows how to do and on her own terms. Mm-hmm. It was out of necessity in a way, but she drew up her own contract again. She was able to, like, barter this in a way that was empowering to her.
But weirdly, like, every time she has sex is out of necessity, because, like, as a sex worker, she is doing it for money. So, like, her life is about this is what she trades for the things that she wants. Yeah. She just also happens to fucking enjoy the shit out of it. Yeah. And so, he has a cool garden.
He does.
And so as much as she enjoys the sex, I think she also enjoys the negotiation process. partially because Jocelyn is sitting there just fucking fuming about it. And I think she likes pushing his buttons.
Yeah.
I think that she enjoys fucking with Jocelyn a little bit.
Yeah.
Physically, she enjoys fucking him, but...
yeah, no,
Jocelyn is not happy about it, and I'm like, dude, it's her whole thing.
So in love with her, and like I don't even know if he knows it, but like goddamn, he's down bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she fucks this guy so good that he gives a ring that he was gonna give to his wife to her instead.
Yeah.
Damn.
God, I want a fucking angel, man.
Yeah, right?
What
must it be like?
I feel like I would just come so fast.
Well, yeah, we are only human.
I know.
Yeah.
I would subscribe to her OnlyFans.
Oh my god, yeah. She would be the top earner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. OnlyFans doesn't allow that shit.
Actually,
on their website.
yeah, so she'd have to be on Fansly. I was about to say the same thing. Nothing she does is allowed on there.
No, actually, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, no blood.
No fake blood, even.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you allowed to... I think you're allowed to spank, but you're not allowed to, like, whip, right?
I don't know if you can, like, whip or flog or anything like that. Actually, I have not looked into it. She
would be Fansly. Everyone else is on OnlyFans, and then Fedra is, like, the backbone of Fansly.
She keeps the entire platform afloat by herself.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So the Duke de Morbihan lets him go. Ring in tow. We're collecting rings, much like a D&D party slowly running out of attunement slots. We are collecting rings, and we get to the ocean. Quintilius Rouse is there on his boat, and he's like, Fedra, hey,
I knew you didn't kill
I know
Delano.
you.
Yeah,
that's wild. Welcome in.
Yeah. So they info dump on him.
Yeah.
And they set sail. They gotta get past the Master of the Straits to get Kruark on his throne.
So that they can then cross the straits again.
Yeah.
And so they do be riding that ship, and two big things happen. The first one is the Stormfather from the Stormlight Archive appears in the sky.
No, he appears in the water.
Is he in the water?
Yeah, he's like the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the opposite of the Stormfather
It's like
appears.
a face in the water. And
I
Fedra's
think
like,
that
this can't be real.
I'm so Stormlight coded that as I was listening to the audiobook, I was picturing this giant thing in the sky.
Yeah.
And so he appears, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she's
Fedra's like, what if I sing you a
Down,
song?
down, down the road, down the witch's road. And he's like, oh shit, that was fire as fuck.
She pulls a fucking Heimerdinger. Go spin the wheel and see where it lands. And he's like, oh damn, this is banger.
Yeah.
This is some fire tracks.
Straight bangers.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right.
You
bye.
may pass. Have fun.
Cool.
I also love that Quintilius Rouse is like, you motherfucker, like at all points.
Quintilius Rouse and the Master of the Straits relationship is amazing.
Yeah, he just.
Where he's like, what do you want, you dumb bitch?
Yeah.
Oh, it's you ugly piece of shit. What could a dumb little bullshit piece of motherfucking ass like you want from a beautiful man like me?
Pretty much, yeah.
It was, Jocelyn, like, drags her to sing.
It's like, sing! She's like, what? Yeah, it's great.
It reminds me of every time in every movie where the like, main character gets pushed forward. This happens a lot. It just does.
Yeah. It's just
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. Here, do it.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, do the thing.
Yeah.
Fucking Katniss Everdeen. How many times does she get pushed forward? Hey, be inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, I'm Jennifer Lawrence. I'm awkward.
Yeah.
I fall upstairs, okay?
I understand.
And the second cool thing that happens is the Stormfather lets them pass, but is like, you win this round, but I am going to fog all the fuck over you. And so they're super lost. They have no idea where they're going.
Yeah.
And so Hyacinth is Drummonding as hard as he can.
And he can't see. He's like, the fog is in the way of my vision. This is really unfortunate. And so fucking Fedra is like, well then, get over the fog. And he climbs all the way up to like the top of the crow's nest so that he can Drummond steer the boat from where he is above the fog. And
so he is literally just like a fucking dowsing rod on top of the boat, like, go that way, Oh, we're swinging. Oh, we're swinging that way.
Yeah. They make it to shore, and they meet the Celts.
Yeah. And we get one of another super sweet Hyacinth moment where the sister of the Kruark like puts her hands on his face and is like, "Hey, you are the waking dreamer, the three-eyed raven."
The Kruark, no,
it's his sister.
Oh, yeah.
It's his youngest sister, I think. And she she names him the waking dreamer, which I think is one of Bran's names in
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, maybe.
I think that's one of the names for the three-eyed raven. I might be wrong about that.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But
they were like, "Hey,
it's so sweet. It's beautiful.
We've been waiting for you guys, actually." Yeah. And they're like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Yeah, I had a dream that this little boy was going and playing, and that you guys would show up."
I just had to go to the place on the beach where my son likes to wave his stick.
Yeah, cool how that works, huh?
Okay. All right.
So they go meet the Celts. There's like two twins that are like the leaders of the nation. They like share.
They're not like they are the leaders.
Yeah.
They are the king and queen.
They share the throne.
Yes. I love sometimes when you're like, they're like the leaders, when they just that flatly is what they are.
Yeah, it is weird that there's two of them. So they have to kind of agree on stuff. So
the boy is cautious and the girl is more daring.
Mm-hmm.
And so
and she really likes Quintilius Rouse.
Geraldine is into Quintilius Rouse quite a bit.
She wants that seed.
She wants a husband. And so
I don't think she wants a husband. I think she wants a baby.
I mean, in this world, that would be.
Nope, for them it doesn't matter. They don't. Phaedra comments that she doesn't know who the father of her son is because that's not what matters in their society. Lineage just passed through the mother.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Through literal like birthing fluids, which also sounds very Jewish, but I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, she just wants a strong baby, and she's like, you know what, Quintilius Rouse, he's got angel blood in him.
But she's not gonna fuck Quintilius Rouse yet because she is like the Kruark Alba is a very handsome and tattooed man who has blue tattoos everywhere. But he is also not a he is not what Phaedra expected. Because she's like, oh, he's hot. Oh, I get why Sandra wants him. And then he pulls his cloak back, and he has a club foot. And he makes a comment about how he might be crippled, but on a horse he has 4 good legs.
Yeah.
And
he is determined to fight for Ysandra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Phaedra kind of realizes, oh, they like love each other. Oh, this isn't like just a political thing. There's some like genuine. On both sides. She had seen from Ysandra that she was into this guy. And that there was... Because she wants to keep this ancient pact going. Not ancient. This marriage contract from like
from when they were
10
kids.
years ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, these two people are like super fucking into each other.
Yeah, I think that this could work, actually.
Sick. And so he starts to be like, look, we gotta go take my throne. It is time... Because I gotta go marry this angel.
Yeah.
This literal fucking angel.
Yeah.
And the woman, Graendal, is like, great, let's fucking do that.
Yeah, and her twin is like, I don't know.
He's like,
we're gonna, you know what? We're not gonna decide tonight. We're gonna have a good fucking time. So they all get drunk as fuck. And guess who also gets drunk as fuck?
Hyacinth. And he's like, Phaedra.
Well, yes.
Phaedra, hey, Phaedra. Hey, Phaedra.
We good?
We're like, we're never gonna like get married, right? And she's like, no.
No, you go. And
so he goes and he fucks the princess of Alba.
The youngest sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Phaedra's like, I don't remember exactly what happened that night and how it went down, because I had way too much to drink. But it seemed like both of the twins wanted to fuck me, and somehow I wound... And I think I made a comment about, yeah, I can fuck both of you guys, but they weren't going to do that together, so I had to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but I did pick the sister, and I woke up in her bed the next morning. It was a crazy time.
Which is... So there's a wide variety of wild things that happen here. First off is she fucks the queen,
Yeah.
Doesn't do her. She does regret not doing her best because she was too drunk.
She's like, I hope it was good. I can't really remember.
I was too drunk to be artistic in my sexuality.
Yeah, but she still had a good time.
Oh, they both had a great time.
Yeah, like the queen is like, no, like you damn, you guys.
A mid-evening with Phaedra is better than an evening with any other human alive.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And except maybe Aquan. And also while they're lying in bed naked post coitus. Fucking Graindol's little kid runs in and jumps on the bed. And, like, look, I get it. Some people are free with their sexuality. But, like, this was a one-night stand. I don't want my kid to fucking be in bed with us. This was the most horrific thing that happens in this book to me.
Like, that's it. That's where I draw the line. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to deal with your kid.
The problem is, it's the same bed that you, like, fucking... So the kid being on that bed, the kid, like...
I do not want... ever at any point in my life to have a one-night stand with someone and the first thing that happens when I wake up the next morning is a toddler that person bestowed upon this earth to leap into my lap, my nude under the covers lap. It's
a different world.
This is the shiver that runs down my spine when I cannot sleep at night. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
This is true terror on a level that no human being should have to experience.
That's dramatic.
Awful. Disgusting, Jacqueline Carey. I almost put the book down, but I didn't because it's a really fucking good book. I enjoyed this book a lot.
That in and of itself highlights the severe differences between our world and their world. Because that kid doesn't give a fuck. He's like, Mama, I had a great night. How you guys doing?
Mama who bore me. Mama who gave me.
That kid does not give a fuck.
Mama the angel.
Literally.
Who made me so sad.
Yeah.
Mama the weeping. I fucking love Spring Awakening.
It's a dark show.
I know, and the second act moves too fast. There's too much in the play, and it was too much to adapt. But like, there's still so much to love about it. Logan says, "Why do you hate small people so much?" I love small people. My wife is tiny. She's a petite human. It is not a size issue. I don't like children. I don't want to be around your kids. If your wedding is a kids allowed wedding, I'm disappointed.
Wow.
Children should not be at weddings.
Jesus Christ. It depends on the kind of wedding.
They can be at the ceremony, and they can be at the dinner, and then the dinner should end, and children should leave, and then the partying should be adults only. I don't want children on the dance floor.
I don't know. It's kind of sweet at your brother's wedding.
It was fine.
They were cute.
I was related to them, so it was okay.
All right.
There was also not... No. Sorry to my sibling for calling out people you invited to your wedding. The people whose kids kept getting up during the speeches, oh my god, they were screaming and crying. Like, they just shouldn't have been there. It's better without children. Logan says, geez, Grandpa George, you really hate Charlie, huh? Yeah. Yeah, when he got that chocolate factory and had to go to work at 9 years old, I was happy. Because it meant that he was out of the fucking house.
Jesus Christ. It is one of those moments that really reinforces in this book how different they all are culturally in a way that I think is beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Honestly. People just fuck. And that's fine.
People do be
like,
fucking.
That's not a weird thing. And it is one of the things that I enjoy about this book. What?
Denver's winning.
Oh, right, the game
Denver's
started.
currently beating Buffalo.
Right.
Part of me wants to just throw it on and have it on while we talk, but...
No.
Okay, well then book club needs to start moving faster because I want to watch the second half of the game. We fuck Graindol. Graindol wakes up and is like, hey, I just gave you a real gift. And she's like, pussy? No. My twin brother is incapable of not having everything that I have.
Yeah.
He does not like it when I have something.
He will not rest until he fucks you.
And so if you want him to go to war, the best thing you can do is...
use this against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she does.
Yeah, they spend a week
Yeah.
with her teasing him relentlessly, but not giving in.
Yeah.
Not making her move.
Yeah.
So that on her final night, when the Kurok de Alba says, tomorrow we ride without you.
Yeah. And she calls him a coward. And he's like, oh yeah, coward? Bet. And he's like, we also ride. Eat that, Phaedra. And she's like, I will. And they have a great night together.
And so she does.
Yeah, she does eat that.
Yeah. And so she literally fucks a king into going to war.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What power?
Edging, man.
Could you
It is the
imagine?
power of edging.
Yeah, seriously. So they
This is
montage.
This is what happens in a society where women can control when they get pregnant.
Yeah.
Too much power. This is
Super useful.
This is what the right is afraid of. This is what the Supreme Court, the cowards on the Supreme Court are afraid of.
Yeah. No,
Is women with the power to choose. Pussy can sway nations.
I hate how real that is.
Jacqueline Carey has created a Republican's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if J.D. Vance wrote this book, he would die.
If he read it or wrote it.
If he read it.
I don't think he would write it, but I think
I don't think he can write. Honestly, I'm impressed he can read. But no, I think if he read this book, he would, like, croak.
Yeah. It would be too much for his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's way too many words for Donald Trump to even come near it, but... Am I wrong?
Go to war. They go collecting people from across the countryside. They amass an army, and they go fight to get the throne back for the Black Boar. So, they're about to fight. It is the morning of the battle, and the king's about to give a lengthy speech, and instead he is interrupted by a giant motherfucking black boar showing up.
Yeah.
With a lame leg that pokes his head out of the forest, looks around and is like, deuces, and runs off. And the people take that as a fucking sign from God, because it is, literally. So they go fight the army that's coming, who was going to sneak up on them and surprise them in about 10 minutes when the speech was going to end. Okay, so that black boar literally saved their fucking asses. And they do it. They win. Unfortunately, there is a situation back with Phaedra and
they get attacked.
The Crooks family. They do get attacked. And under normal circumstances, if they had bows and were armed, they would have had a better chance of defending themselves. But Jocelyn is the only one who's able to fight them. And he does. Immediately, the youngest, who Hyacinth may or may not be in love with, sneaks off to go get her bow, and she starts shooting, and she takes a spear through the chest and dies. It is actually so fucking tragic.
It's so sad.
But they do win the day. They kill the usurper. They head back to,
and kind of importantly, but not really importantly, but kind of, Cruarch Dalba kills Malcolm himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely not subtle, Emberise, for sure.
And so they have a night of,
they have to bury all their dead.
Yeah.
They gotta take time to clear things. They take the next day, bury their dead, mourn. It's really rough. Hyacinth is having a
but
bad
they also party,
time.
and I think that one of the beautiful things here is that there's a line where Jacqueline Carey writes like he would not. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but the Cruarch does not begrudge them their party and does not, in his grief, does not try and like force his grief onto the people who followed him.
Yeah.
And so there is this like mourning going on in the center of this camp, and it is sort of the duality of war, right? Is that in this central camp where this family is deeply grieving this girl, is surrounded by the most raucous party ever, and it is such a wonderfully written encapsulation of the aftermath of violence.
You have literal people grieving over dead friends 4 feet away from people who are trying to just get through the worst of like what humanity is capable of.
And so Hyacinth, in his depression, gets pulled into the woods by Phaedra, and they make sweet love. Yeah. They have sex, and it is...
Yeah, and he's like guilty about it, and she's like, no, like, what I've been taught is that like we're given these moments of passion to help us deal with the grief that we have.
Yeah.
Because living is not always wonderful.
Yeah. And
we have to balance those things. And one does not take away from the other. It just makes the other more bearable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's not how I would necessarily want to spend the time after a woman I thought I might be falling in love with had just died. But it works for Hyacinth, and it does seem to be a nice little salve for his wounds. which is...
It's also one of those things where I cannot imagine how I would feel in that scenario, and I know that people do cope with that in looking for companionship. And so I'm like, 100%, maybe I would. I don't fucking know.
I'm not judging it. I'm saying that wouldn't be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think it would be, but I've never been close to being in that situation, and I have no idea how I would respond to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I might be like, all I need is to be close to somebody right now, and I cannot tell you for sure how I would respond. Yeah. I have no clue.
And this is where we kind of get there's a beautiful moment of like the vigil, and we wake up the next morning, we head into town. Jacqueline is also the most this is one of the times where Jacqueline's fine with it. Jacqueline is not as pissed about her having sex finally, so hopefully
he's distracted.
He's gonna be normal from now on. He won't. But he's distracted because he feels so strongly that she's dead because of him. Yeah. And the crew arc, this man has to come over and be like, it's not your fucking job, dude. Yeah. Chill the fuck. God damn it, Jacqueline. You are exhausting.
You are overstepping your boundaries, sir.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
And I do love that someone finally, just because you made an oath to protect people doesn't mean that you're responsible for every fucking thing that happens, man. Yeah. And Jacqueline needed to hear this so bad. Yeah. And I hope that it, Dresden is a great character. I love him. I'm standing him and Isandra so hard.
I know. I want them to be happy forever.
I'm so into this relationship now because he's the best.
I'm invested.
I'm like, if someone's got to be king, and y'all know I'm not pro monarch here. If someone's got to be king, I'm down for this guy to be king.
Yeah. We get to the keep where the guard has taken the usurper's mom into custody for them. They try her, they kill her. Yeah. She's like, we should actually change from bloodlines through motherhood to fatherhood. And they're like, nah, we're good, actually. Yeah. I was like, all right, it's not really an argument.
Yeah, but also,
we're just gonna change things.
What's important in this moment?
Fuck you.
What's important in this moment is that they turn to Phaedra, and they're like, "What says the Queen of Terdange?" And she's like,
"Basically,
fuck, that's right. I speak for the fucking queen.
I have a responsibility here."
What did she do last
time? No mercy.
Well, but she doesn't make that choice out of nowhere. It is because when fucking Bedouin's mom was on the chopping block last time, she was like, okay, this is where she went, so I'm assuming. And so I do love the way in which this book's events are all sewn together, in that Phaedra's actions here are because of the way she observed the queen acting earlier in the book.
That through line is strong.
It's so good. Yep. It's so damn good. Mm-hmm. Everything is tied together in this nest of story beats. Yeah. Brilliant. And so it's time to leave. We are headed to war. We got to get back to the Scaldi. We're probably skipping over some stuff, but guys, so much happened in this section. And the Quintilius Rouse is like, well, here's the deal. You are an ambassador of a queen, and these boys, they
need something.
They fought hard for you. Yeah. And so they've requested. This might have happened the night before, but they've requested that you knight them. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I can't do that. And they're like, no, actually you're the only person who can.
She's like, all right, well, this feels fucking weird.
It's kind of your job. Yeah. And so Quintilius...
They become Phaedra's boys.
Quintilius gives her a sword, and one by one she knights all of them.
Jacqueline does, I think.
No, right. I'm pretty sure Jacqueline would not pull his sword out for this.
I thought the line was that Jacqueline handed her a sword, but I don't...
For some reason, I thought it was Quintilius' sword.
You know what? I don't think it actually matters.
It doesn't. And so she knights them all. And we get the honestly, I don't often call you guys out for picking the wrong chapters for us to react to. Okay? I don't, but this time you fucked it up. You guys fucked up.
The laugh that Nerdy laughed.
If you could have seen me.
We were in the car and he was driving and he was struggling.
Thank God our car has lane assist. I guffawed a guffaw. I paused the audiobook.
Yeah.
Like, I started to laugh so hard that I had to stop the audiobook because I was, like, I was so loud. It was...
Well, you're always loud.
When they pull out the fucking banner, and it's beautiful. It's like a gold circle with, like, a red dot. Like, it's like
a red circle for her eye with the golden dart of Kushiel.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they start this song as they're marching towards the river. And they're Fedra's boys. We're Fedra's boys.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of grown men yelling into the breeze.
Whip us till we're on the floor, we'll turn around and ask for more.
Whip us till we're on the floor, we'll turn around and ask for more. And
something
on its own is funny. On its own, it's funny.
Yeah.
But Fedra not knowing it's coming.
No. No, like the narration of it, of the laugh. Oh my god, it was so good.
And I really like this audiobook narrator. I think she's done an exemplary job.
She's fantastic.
But her delivery of this was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Whip us over on the floor, we'll turn around and ask for more. And I thought that was going to be the only one. There's all of these little bits.
There's a couple throughout
great. They're all fantastic. When they're on the boat, they keep doing it.
Yeah.
And other people start joining in because it's so funny. And poor Fedra is...
She's like, I can't.
It's so fun because in this whole book, she's never really been embarrassed. No. Like, no matter... She's been fucking whipped in public.
She's been humiliated in a sexual manner, but this is the first, like, embarrassment.
This is the first time the entire book where she's genuinely embarrassed in public. And it is... Jacqueline Carey...
Nailed it.
It is such a needed moment of comedy, too. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, Hyacinth has just been through a lot. There's a stressful chunk of the book here where there isn't much to, like, laugh at. There's not a lot of joy. There's not a lot of light. And... we just had to kill this woman, like, and I respect the shit out of Dristan for killing her himself.
Yeah.
I'm a big Ned Stark stan, but the book needed a moment like this here, and it's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
It is one of the funniest bits of literature I've read in my life.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like,
I've never laughed that hard while reading a book.
No. I've never been so taken by surprise.
Yeah.
By a comedy beat.
I knew it was coming too, so I was sitting in the car being like...
She was ahead of me. And so she was just waiting for me to fucking lose it. And I was in awe of it. Yeah. It's a perfect moment.
I want to say Emily has given us the highest of compliments. They've had to stop our podcast before because they were crying too hard while driving.
Fair. I mean, you've done that to me a couple times on the show, so I'm not surprised that it works on the audience too. You're very funny, babe.
Thanks. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
And so we get to the water, and there's an old fisherman guy, and he's like, hey, do not...
no hunting!
...touch a fish past 3 leagues from the shore.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Justin's like, okay, got it. He gives a speech. He's like, hey, don't hunt or whatever. And they're like, all right. And then there's some people that show up late.
Because they were fucking.
Yeah. And Justin forgets to repeat himself. So what happens? They get on the boats immediately.
They're also the people who Dristan gave... land to that was Red Bull land. He gave that to Red Bull people. The fact that it's Red Bull is a lot for me, guys. Every time they say Red Bull, wings. I was like, how much did Red Bull pay to be in this fucking book?
Yeah.
But he won a lot by giving honor to Red Bull people by not giving all of their lands to like Blackboard people.
Yeah. He was trying to have good balance.
Yeah. And so they get on the boats. The Red Bull people get on the land, or get on the raft.
Yeah. So there's rafts and there's boats. Obviously, the sturdiest, biggest boat is gonna go to Dristan and Fedra and all them. But there are a bunch of rafts, and they're sailing for a while. And then somebody decides they're gonna hunt the eel underneath of them. They pull it up. They kill it.
Unsurprisingly, it is a Red Bull person because Red Bull people are reckless.
Well, they didn't hear the warning. Because they arrived late. Because they were fucking... So, guess who shows up? The Master of the Straits. Is like, oh, you're hunting on my land? Fuck you. And Dristan is like, sir, it's my fault. And then, Quintilius Rouse is like, no, it's my fault, you bastard. And then Fedra's like, actually, no, it's my fault. And he's like, all right, well...
And Jocelyn's like, I'm coming too.
He, like, blows them on a wave to a secret magic island.
Sure.
That's what happens.
I know, but like the beginning of this book is like politics and sex.
Yeah.
And the second part of this book is also like there's so much weird magic shit.
Yeah, we get to a magic island where the Master of the Straits lives and cannot leave.
They're all Spartacus. That's funny.
And is like, hey, I've got your people. No problem. You got to do something for me. I can't leave here until A, you guys, Dresden and Isan, get married. Okay? Can't leave until you do that. I also can't leave until something else happens, but you're going to have to figure out what that is.
Which, like, just tell them. I didn't really get the, like, you guys have to spend a night figuring it out, even though Fedra figures it out immediately.
I'm assuming it has something to do with
Look,
the,
Jacqueline, Carey,
riddle.
this book is long enough. The book is so long. One thing that could have been cut is the, like, you guys have to figure it out for yourself. And then Fedra immediately figures it out, and we spend a night just not talking about the fact that we've already figured it out, so that in the morning we can say that we figured it out.
I love that they all sit down, and
then,
they're like, so what is it? And Fedra's like, I already know. Don't worry about it. And they're like, okay, well,
they
tell
go to
us.
dinner,
She's like,
and she's
nah.
like, oh, no, I already know. And they're like, well,
Nah.
okay, I guess we'll just fucking jerk off tonight. I don't know.
Pretty much.
And so then they wake up, and the Lord of the Seas is like, do you know the answer to the riddle?
Yeah.
And Hyacinth is like, I can see 800 years into the past, and this is everything that ever happened to you, and now I get to live here now.
Yeah, because Fedra's basically like, one of us has to take your place. And she's like,
I want to do it.
It's gonna be me. And he's
It's
like,
gonna
well,
be me.
actually, it can only be the person who can see everything. You gotta figure out why. Hyacinth has a Duran. He can literally see the whole past, and he relays it to them. And he stays to become the Master of the Straits. And it's fucking tragic. Because he's just a little guy. He didn't sign up for this.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just lost someone who, like, he's like, I might have loved that lady. She's really cool.
We saw this coming, though.
We called it. Yeah. We did react to this, and we sat down beforehand, and I was like, this is our prediction. Fucking nailed it.
Hyacinth was the only one who made sense.
I know, yeah.
Because, like, Rouse Stain doesn't really mean anything. Dresden can't stay, and Fedra Stain ruins the book. And Jocelyn Stain, as the only other one that would have made sense was Jocelyn Stain as an atonement for him feeling like he broke his vows.
Mm-hmm.
That one I could have seen, but then, like, Fedra's in danger for the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Hyacinth is the Kwisatz Haderach. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of is. He's the prince that is promised. Yeah.
Pretty much. Azora's High.
Yeah.
Um.
God, I love the word Kwisatz Haderach. It's just fucking, despite the fact that it shouldn't roll off your tongue, it just does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rough moment. They have a tearful goodbye.
It's beautiful, though. And, like, the way in which Hyacinth, like, speaks through the Dormand about what happened 800 years ago, and about how, like, so basically, like, the 800 years ago, there was a sexual feud, essentially, that involved Alba and France, and God, that had to do with, like, these three sisters, and God separated them and placed this man who had, you know, slept with the third sister in between them as a dividing line to watch but not be able to participate. And
an angel captured a woman.
Yeah. And the strait is not open to passage until...
Yeah, I don't know what you mean about...
Where did I get all that from the book?
No, the,
Hey, Dice Cream, what's up?
Hi, it's good to see you. No, so this guy was like, I want this lady, and he captures her, and it was, like, very bad. So he basically got punished for not holding to the, like, love as thou wilt kind of vibes that this world values. They're trapped on the third sister, which is the third island, I believe.
No, the three sisters were people and are now islands. Right?
No. Yeah, so Rahab is like
I
the
thought
god
that
angel
the sisters
thing.
became islands in this. Okay, I massively misunderstood. I thought the three sisters were people who became the three islands.
Okay, yeah.
I know that the islands are not the three sisters. I thought that those three sisters had been people.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I misunderstood.
So there was a.
I'm with Kushiel. I found this part confusing.
It was.
I thought there were 3 women, and that the third sister got kidnapped. I thought that one of the sisters got kidnapped, but then all of them got turned into islands.
Oh yeah, no. So there was a Dongeline woman who loved an Alban man, which was basically the mirror of Ysond and Drustin. And Rahab came between them and was punished for it. Until
the descendant of the guy in Alba is the king again, the Strait is being protected by this dude, right?
Yeah, which I guess it can be anybody who, like... Here's the thing, it seems like the Master of the Straits is, like, gonna die. When Hyacinth takes over is when he's able to die and, like, pass on.
Yeah. Maybe?
I think so. He says, like, he's gonna move on, kind of vibes.
Sure. Mythological stuff. It's very cool. It parallels Dristan and Isandra. It's dope. And so Hyacinth relays this story. Women do not become islands, even though I fully thought that that's what happened. Hyacinth is going to stay and apprentice in the ways of not doing anything. Here's the other thing about this I didn't really understand.
Controlling the oceans.
He's like, I'm going to train you. And I was kind of like...
He's got the power of the sea. I would want some training too.
I guess.
He can also literally find anything in the ocean. They literally pull out sunken books and clothes and treasure and shit.
He also has a Twitch stream to everything.
He's like, I'm going to show you what happened.
He's not the Lord of the Land, but he basically pulls out a video monitor. The final chapter 79, we've gotten to the end of the reading. He plays... He is a substitute teacher who shows up to class and is like, hey guys, we're going to watch a movie today. And the movie is everything that has happened in Terdange.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I completely understand. Threx says not everything, just the oceans. That's not true.
No, he shows them exactly what has happened.
They see, Scaldy war shit that happens in the mountains.
Yeah, no, they see land fights.
Yeah. They full on see,
He can't see everything in detail. He can only see large events.
Yeah.
Right, because
he can't find where Melisande or Sherazai is.
They ask about Melisande, and he's like, I only see the larger picture. I can't actually, like... It's not like fucking, what is that, like Google image, where you can, like, zoom into streets, Google Street View.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
No. And so basically, the Terdangelines have retreated back to this fort, and they are surrounded, and we got to get to them. This is a lot of war information that gets thrown at you very fast, but what it boils down to is the Terdangelines are in this one fort, and Voldemort has them surrounded. That's the important part. And that's the reading. That's where we stop. Yeah. On the island, with the information that we have to go to this one cove to pick up the fleet so that we can go to the place to fight the people to win the war.
Pretty much.
And that is Kushiel's Dart.
Crazy. What? Well, no, actually, we still have a whole other chunk left.
I know, and you know what? I'm stoked.
Me too.
I like this book a lot. I think it's very good, and I am enraptured by it. I love the characters. Jocelyn pisses me off, but he's very consistent in it, and so I think he's very well written.
Yeah.
Even if I find his belief in his oaths to be a little silly.
Yeah. Yes, the Duke is stuck. They've the war is not going super well. They are definitely needed to help sway the
there's
tides.
A lot of Scaldy.
Yeah. Arzu, we have talked about at least doing
We've discussed it.
The first trilogy.
Yeah. I don't think we'll do the second book until March, because February we're
gone for like half of the month.
Yeah, we missed 3 Sundays in February, so we can't book club.
Yeah,
on Sundays. So because we're missing 3 Sundays in February, we won't do a Sunday book club. So we're thinking of taking a break.
Yeah.
And also, just a heads up, when we come back to this book, to this series, we're going to do slightly shorter splits.
More splits.
Splits.
Yeah, it's a lot.
This week was a lot of reading.
Yeah.
This week was really dense, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. I feel like we didn't get to talk about the book as much as I wanted to today, because we had to get to so many things.
Yeah.
I feel like we did a good job. I'm actually really proud of this book club. I'm surprised it's under 3 hours right now.
I know.
It feels like we've been talking longer.
I think we crushed it.
We are doing the smut book. We are doing Morning Glory Milking Farm on February 2nd.
First Sunday, of February. If we do not get to book 2 of Kushiel's Dart in March for reasons, because, our lives are crazy and something may pop up. It might be May, because in April we're gone for Star Wars Celebration. So the plan is that we both are very much enamored with the series and want to continue doing it on book club. It will not be as consistent as our Friday book club,
but also Friday book club won't be consistent. So,
I'm just saying it won't be as consistent.
Yeah,
which means
unfortunately, April we are in Japan for a month, and so we don't want to plan to do book club in Japan because we don't know if we're just gonna be on hotel Wi-Fi for a month. And so
not worth it.
Yeah.
There is no
Japan is going to kind of be our first ever vacation since we started content creation. We'll be making book club content on the book club channel where we read books while we're on vacation.
Yeah.
And we'll be making reviews of shorter novels and things that we're not going to do full book clubs on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are going to do our best. Second half of the year, book club's going to be super consistent, y'all. But this first half of the year is a little bit wild.
A little rocky. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
There is no full book recap scheduled for this book, but I think that if we have to take a longer break between book 1 and book 2, we might do a full book recap going into book 2. Mm-hmm. So we'll figure that out.
We don't have a full book recap planned. It's going to depend on our schedule.
Well, because we're not here after next Sunday where we're finishing the book.
Lightbound Fool says, will you be reacting to Season 3 of Wheel of Time in March, April? I think we'll definitely do Episode 1 in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to see.
Y'all...
If we don't love it, we are not going to continue.
I don't want to sit and shit on it each week. We might do what we did for Rings of Power, where if it's not working for us, we'll do an end of the season recap, live stream. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed our one for Rings of Power. But, we stopped watching Rings of Power 2 episodes in? 3 episodes in?
3, I think.
And,
3 or 4, I don't even know.
The reactions were just shit. if you go watch our War of the Rohirrim video from yesterday,
fun.
It has no views.
Yeah, because it's not good.
Because nobody wants to watch us just not... Because I don't think that movie's very good. And, I don't know, I just think doing that for 8 weeks, if we're not having a good time, it's just a drag to sit on camera and be like, didn't like it. I still think the cast is incredible, and I know that Lanfear is going to be wonderful, because I think she's the best part of the show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just, I'm not really interested in just shitting on stuff. That's why Clara stopped watching JJK while I'm still really loving it.
Yeah.
We're trying to, we want to do more where we focus on being positive. We're not going to lie. We're not going to we've always promised we're always going to have our genuine takes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. At the same time, we're not just going to watch the whole season just because it'll get views. That's not really who we are. It's not how we do things here.
Yeah.
And I know that people want us to, but it kind of sucks at a certain point when you're just sitting there not enjoying it, and there's nothing the show can do to win you back over because of its previous missteps.
Yeah. Yeah. When we sit down and we're like, God, I don't know if I want to record this, it sucks.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to... And then it's... When we have that vibe, it's tough to then... It was kind of like book club for a while in Wheel of Time, right? When Wheel of Time was rough, it was we would be sitting here before the camera being like, I don't want to do this. And then we do it to force ourselves through it.
Yeah.
I think we learned a lot from that in Attack on Titan, how we want to focus on making content.
Yeah. And if we do like it, if we do like Season 3, we'll keep going with it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I would love nothing more. It'll be tough when we're in Japan, but I would love nothing more for Season 3 to win me over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would love to sit here and be like, hell yeah, they fucking turned it around for me and I love this.
But if it's more of what Season 2 gave me, I'm good. I just don't need to make content about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I hear you.
This book is very good, Jacqueline Carey. I'm not surprised it's never been adapted, because how the fuck would you do it?
Yeah.
But also, this would be a great HBO series. This would be if you could find a woman who could play Phaedra, which would be not easy.
Yeah.
Casting this character would be real fucking hard.
I don't know who could do it.
I know.
Because you have to have someone who has, like, the maturity of actresses in, like, their 40s.
Yeah.
But who is also young and pulls off that naivety at the beginning before things really go south for her.
Yeah. And just someone who is willing.
Fedra would have to be an unknown, yeah, most likely.
Well, and you would also have to find someone who is willing to sign up for
the sexy stuff.
3 seasons of being naked a lot.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people who are down to do the nudity, but it's a really specific role. Like, it's not. Yeah, it's tough. It would be a interesting casting process. And it's a character, because obviously there's shows where a lot of sexual things happen. I'm not saying that's never been cast before.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a really specific sort of role, and casting it would be difficult.
It would also be very expensive because there are so many characters. Like having everybody involved on the scale that this book is able to. Oh, this person is this person, and this person, and this person. Like, there are just so many people.
Yeah.
Like, paying all those people to be named characters with lines and stuff, like, it would add up really quickly.
Amelia Clark as Melisande? No. That'd be terrible casting.
No, she's not.
She's not devious enough.
Yeah.
She's too, like, innocent. You know what I mean?
Amelia Clark is more in my head like a Ysande than a Melisande.
Oh, Ysandra? Yeah, she's too old now, but...
Yeah.
Or actually, no, Ysandra's probably...
She's in her 20s, I think.
I don't think they'd need to condense the cast that much.
They'd have to do some work, because there's so many names.
They would just have to treat it like a normal TV show, and not like a modern TV show where there's, like, 6 people.
I guess that's...
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You could definitely do it. It would be really hard. Honestly, like, it wouldn't be that hard. If I really think about it, it wouldn't be that difficult. It would just be... If you had, like, 10-hour-long episodes, you could do this book.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of montage and a lot of narration from, like...
Episode 1 would be
Fedra,
tough because people already have an issue with this book and how it begins. Like,
how it begins?
Yeah. Here was my life story from the age of 3 to, like, fucking
I feel like
16.
that's so easy to montage through. There's so many movies. Like, honestly, the beginning, you could condense so much of the information in the beginning, because in a TV show, a lot of what you learn isn't important. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the exposition of the beginning of this book, which is interesting, isn't actually important.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you could start the show at the longest night where Baudouin kisses her.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Right? And then you have, like, a montage. That flashes back through a montage of everything up to that point. And then 10 minutes into episode 1, we see the sun thing. And then we go right into her leaving for Anafil Delorme's house the next day.
Yeah.
Meeting Alcuin. Boom, we're off to the
Meeting
races.
Hyacinth.
Yeah. Although, God, like, there's so much that happens in this book.
That's what I mean. Like, it's tough.
And we're not even at the end of the book yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've already had 3 massive battles.
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah. I don't think you could do it in 8. I think maybe, like, a 13-episode season, like Daredevil had. 13 feels like it could be good.
It'd be tough. It'd be so expensive.
Because then you could do, like, 3 episodes for, like, the Delaunay pre-sex thing. 3 episodes for her with Delaunay. Or no, maybe, like, oh, God, yeah. Because this would have to be episode 9. And then you would have 3 episodes for the rest of the book.
Probably.
It would be a huge series. You definitely couldn't do it as a movie. It's too big.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many things that happen.
Yeah, but this book is phenomenal. I'm excited to see how it ends.
Yeah.
Because knowing that there are 2 more books afterwards, I'm like, actually, I don't know. I don't know where this goes. 100%.
Honestly, this would be a fun anime, because in animation you could do a lot of this stuff more without having to worry about the.
Could put the tiny black bars over the penises.
Well, no, but I mean, like, you could do this as like a adult animation, like.
Yeah.
Although it'd be a lot of talking. I don't know if it'd be visually interesting enough.
Yeah.
It'd be tough. Mimunk, yeah, if HBO wanted a new Game of Thrones, this is closer to Game of Thrones, I think, than even House of Dragon is.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fucking love this book. I'm so glad that we did it.
Me too. It's so good.
Happy accident. We'll get to our smut next time.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to add smut. Fuck, this book has so much. If you like the video, like, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her this episode that, algorithm goddess is...
Yasan. She wants that black boar, you know?
She wants that black boar. Embry says it would be difficult to film while keeping the lack of torture porn element.
It would be a lot of different... It would be a lot about perspective.
And I think that you would... Well, yeah, it would be tough. You would need some really talented female directors. Like, and this is one... You know how Rings of Power is like, season 2 is all female directors, and people are like, that's a weird... I don't know why that matters to this. It would matter to... I would not let a man direct an episode of this show.
Yeah.
Just for optics reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clarice, high-low?
Yeah.
All right, this is where we commiserate over each other's lows, celebrate each other's highs, because that's what my family did when we were growing up and blended. Clarice is going to do her high, I do my low, she does her low, I do my high, because we compliment sandwich this bitch. Clarice, what is your high?
My high is actually the conversation between Dresden and Jocelyn.
Ooh, good high.
It's such a poignant conversation between two people who don't even really share the same language properly. Right? And yeah. I think that is what made it so good because it was just presented in its simplest terms. Mm-hmm. Of like, you can't save everybody. This is my understand sister. Each other. Yeah. You are overstepping, my dude. It's gonna be okay. Thank you for doing what you did because the rest of my family is safe, brother. Like it was so like it was great. I thought it was really, really well done and emotionally driven and a huge turning point I think for Jocelyn as well. Mm-hmm. What's your low?
That kid jumping up in that bed. Just fucking weird.
Just ruined your day.
After a one night stand.
Killed my boner.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
I did not ever have a boner reading this book. But no.
But that especially.
Ooh, Memonk says, I love the use of different languages in this book. Reminds me of Shogun. Good point.
Yeah.
If this show was animated in the Blue Eye Samurai style, like they're talking about in the chat, that would be sick.
That would be sick, yeah.
Yeah.
That would.
And that show had a lot of nudity in it.
Yeah. That's true. Like I don't know if I really have a low. I was really sad that, like.
Can I give my other low then if you're not going to give one?
Yeah, go for it.
Jocelyn can be a pain in the ass. Fucking little pain. It's not bad writing, but like, God, is he a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah. What's your high?
Ugh. I mean, all of it. Just the experience of the language is probably like the constant high of this book. But if I had to pick a moment, I really, really, really loved the fight in the snow, where Fedra kills Harold and just the way it plays out and the reasoning behind all of it and the sadness in it and there really is something beautiful about there's something beautiful about, as awful as Fedra's time with the Scaldi was, and as awful as the future of that conflict is going to be between them, Fedra still has so much empathy as she kills them. Yeah. And it's so sad that they need to die for her to live. Yeah. And I found the maturity of that to be really beautiful and the empathy. You know, I talk a lot when I'm watching Demon Slayer in my reactions about how Tanjiro's radicalized empathy and the way he portrays that and sees people is so moving to me. And I thought that Fedra brought a similar kind of style of viewing other people. And I wish that we were all so good at empathizing with people we view as our enemies. Because I think that it's just it's a beautiful skill that I am trying to be better at.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love this book. Like, I think it's kind of a masterpiece.
Me too.
And I don't know how it ends yet, so who knows? Maybe it falls apart and I walk away kind of disappointed. But it is an incredibly written piece of art. And I am very grateful that we started it, even if it was because someone in our chat doesn't understand what smut is.
Thank you so much for an amazing book club today, guys.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah. We will be back next Sunday with the end of the book. And maybe we'll open the questions. Well, no, that would be too complicated.
Huh?
maybe we'll open like a second questions because it's going to be a shorter read this week. So maybe we'll have some time to answer some questions. Well, no, just bring your questions to book club. We'll do them at the end.
I was like, chat does not move as fast for this book as it does for Sanderson. So if we want to have a section for... Well, here's the thing. We'll see how much happens in the end of this book. And we'll see how much time we have next week. And if we have time at the end to answer questions from chat, we'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day. I might be live in a few minutes again.
What?
I might just go live and watch the second half of the Bills game on camera.
Nerdy wants football friends.
Well, someone asked me to, and I was like, oh, that would be fun.
Oh,
so,
right.
The first half is ending.
You're going to go live on YouTube or Twitch?
Yeah, I'll probably go live on both. And I'll just sit here. I won't have the game up, obviously, because that's illegal. But if you want to just hang out while the Bills game is on, I will probably be back for the second half. I'm going to go get some food. I might just hang out and talk football, and I'll probably be working. It's going to be a super chill, not...
hang out, work with me.
Yeah, it's going to be a super chill stream. Who knows? Maybe we'll play Marvel Rivals or something. I don't know. I still haven't turned the game on. I've never tried it. So.
I know, yeah.
Thanks, y'all. If I don't go live... I didn't feel like it. I'm not guaranteeing, but I keep your eyes peeled for like 20 minutes from now. I just need to go eat food. Thank you for a wonderful book club. This has been a special experience. There's no smut corner because we literally fucked everybody everybody has had sex with Fedra.
Here's the thing. I feel like it would have been fun if the Master of Straits was like, you got to leave someone behind, and Fedra's like, but what if I fucked you instead? Is that good enough? And he's like, yeah.
What if you tortured me with lightning bolts, Zeus?
Yeah.
What about that?
Why not?
Do something nerdy night, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, no. Yeah.
Didn't have